Hi, I am Sero. This is my Twitch stream, seroRPG, because I'm Sero and I do RPG things. And I like to do them with my friends, my online peoples. And joining me once again is David. Hi, David. Welcome back.
Hello, good to be here. Good to be back.
Yeah. And David is from Trials of the Apocalypse.
It's
And
true.
so is Pat. Hi, Pat. This is your
Hiya.
second time.
Second
Will it,
time.
will it be better than the first?
Why was there a problem the first time?
Well, we popped your cherry for streaming, so doesn't it usually improve? You can only get better, right?
I mean, I'd have practice now, right? So it can only improve.
That's the spirit. And also from Trials of the Apocalypse, we have the lovely Emma.
Hello.
Loving the
I am
makeup
also
today,
from
Emma.
Trials of the Apocalypse.
And the cowgirl amongst us, we have Miah back here. Hi, Miah.
I am not a part of Trials of the Apocalypse. I am part of the Monsters Playbook and Actual Play podcast. We play Monster of the Week, as well as a couple other bonus games every once in a while. Yeah.
Tell me you've said that a lot without telling me you've said that a lot.
I do a lot of intermissions for our show. And I've been on Sarah's Twitch stream a number of times.
Yeah. And as you guys who've joined us before might remember, we have ways for the audience to mess with us. And they are using your Kiwi coins, which is the bottom left of your chat screen, to give us a +1 or a -1 to a hunter of your choosing. You can also tip or cheer $5 or 500 bits to give a hunter a reroll. Or if you tip $10 or cheer 1,000 bits, you can trigger a complication for a hunter. Now, David has a lot of these already planned up. He's just waiting for you to trigger this complications for us. And I think we kind of want to have some of these as well that happen to us. So don't forget, guys, complications are
I'm really
fun.
excited for mine. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you want to tip $15 or cheer 1,500 bits, you can gift an item of your choice to a hunter. And we've already had one of those redeemed, which was, what was it again? It was something for Emma's character, wasn't it? For Felicity.
I have choir robes now from the church that I have acquired.
Acquired choir robes. Excellent.
Oh, I have
We
two
also,
rerolls from last stream. I gotta remember
It's
that.
true.
yeah, and I think I
That's
still
really
have a
one of the
You're going to
rules
need
reroll
now.
as
them.
well. And they will carry over to the next episode next weekend, if they haven't been spent, but we will try and spend them this session.
We will try and
Um,
spend your gifts.
yeah. Okay. Let's hand everything over to the master of ceremonies, the keeper, David.
Hello and welcome, hunters.
Howdy.
We invite our glorious Vigilance Committee here today to return to I was going to say bespoke. I suppose we have made some changes already. To the lands of El Paso, a beautiful little town, less than 2,000 people. We're almost into the 1900s, but not quite yet. We're in the early 1880s. And we're picking up the morning after a rather eventful day and night cycle in the city. A quick rehash of the events of the day before, we introduced at the start of it a new threat, the hunt for the rebel gold. There is this big old ghost ship, the CSS Memphis. It's a wreck during the day, it's a ghost ship at night that is a danger to the town. It's an old ironclad from the Civil War that was on the side of the Confederacy. To start off the session, the different hunters saw an echo of the past, a cart of Confederates being chased by some rurales, a group of law enforcers from Mexico. And there was some kind of conflict there. One of the rurales was shot. Turns out that Sero's character knew of them. We should actually get everybody's characters top of the order after we do this, but sort of put a pin in that so I don't forget to do that in a second. But we introduced the conflict between them, that there's this gold that has been stolen or lost. Everything there has not been exactly figured out yet. We have collected a variety of clues, though. We saw the situation unfold. We investigated a couple of locations, the feed store out by the church, and then the hunters kind of split off to do their own various things as we discovered some clues. The clues we have so far for this threat. Let me see if I can do this kind of in the order they were revealed to us. The first one we got was one of the Confederate soldiers in the Echo cried out that we didn't know where the gold came from. It was a misunderstanding. That was one clue that we received. The next one we got was where the restless that we knew, or that we knew here being that our visionary Gertie knew, was what Poppy is the father of
Poppy Diaz.
Poppy Diaz. That's right,
Puppy.
father of Benito Diaz.
Oh, puppy, oh,
Uh,
puppy.
Yeah. So
Hi, puppy.
where Poppy, after having been shot, died, we saw in the echo that there was a set of bloody footprints that went to him and then away. We didn't see the figure who had left those footprints, but somebody was there when Benito Diaz died, or Benito Diaz's father, Poppy Diaz, died. So that was the second clue we got. The third one we got was that there's a secret tunnel that was underneath the feed store. We fell through the floorboards after pulling some of them up. And this secret tunnel was kind of laden with some crude oil along the bottom. So both Gertie and also Cyrus Danforth, the Greenhorn, got rather messy there in the earth as they crawled through the tunnel. Especially
Gertie not so
Cyrus.
messy. She
Yeah.
hopped down in there. He was the one who fell face first in it.
That's true.
Mm.
Cyrus got covered in crude.
All
And
lubed up.
the stream chat also got a little bit crude at that section, if we're being honest.
I don't know. I
So-
think they were getting
Stream
crude
chat.
beforehand too.
Yeah, fair enough. Meanwhile, the other half of our group, Felicity, Faust, Casey, James, the Infernal, and the Legend, respectively, they went off to go and investigate behind the old Methodist church that's been run down for quite a while. There was a fire a little while back that they've been struggling to recover from. And there behind, a couple of things happened. One, we found a drawing of the Methodist church floor plan that was stored in one of the spokes of the wheel of the carriage that had crashed there years ago towards the end of the Civil War. And then in addition to that, we met one of our dangers, one of the leaders, or the leader of the Skaggs Brothers game? What's the name of it again?
Yep,
Skaggs Brothers game,
Cletus
yeah.
Skaggs.
Cletus Skaggs. Confident steer, punchable face, and boy did that happen.
Shootable foot.
He got
Shootable
shot in the
foot.
foot by Casey James after he tried to threaten them to get the map back. And then it escalated from there. He did get the leg swept, hogtied by the combination, the 1-2 punch of Casey James and Felicity luring him back. And then he got taken to the prison by Casey James, and Felicity stuck around to investigate the church a little bit more. There in the graveyard behind, she found a shovel, a pickaxe, and some lime, which is also a clue, that collection of tools. The lime here not being limes the fruit, but like quick lime that you would use to dissolve some rock and using that, some of that kind of stuff. What other clue have we missed? Oh yeah. So that all transpired during the day, and then we moved into the night phase. And first we started off with the Methodist Church, where Felicity cut a deal with another of the NPCs who we'd met, Myrna Stokes. She's a local do-gooder. She's trying to rebuild the church. She's trying to find the rebel gold so it can be used to restore that. But Felicity offered her, hey, you've got something of great value on your person already, your eternal soul. And for the low price of the funds and manpower you need to restore this old church, you can Felicity can have it, and she can instead have the fixed church. So that conversation went rather well for Felicity. Myrna became on board, and actually, if you haven't already marked it, that's a part of one of your moves. Please mark the coin or the poker chip that you get for having created a deal with Myrna.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that on paper because
Sometimes doing stuff
Homebrew.
electronically is hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then out of the floorboards burst up both Cyrus and Gertie. because the tunnel turns out like joined up underneath the church. We didn't discuss whether or not it went on and continued elsewhere. You can always clarify that whenever you answer a question later. But at the very least, it connects those two places. We then reunited the party and went off in search of Casey James, who had a brief chat with the prison guard, who was, let me consult. That was Deputy Calhoun, who we interacted with briefly. Was there anything in specific you got from the conversation with Calhoun, Casey? It was a short conversation before you went on your way.
I learned more about the Confederate Cold. That the Skag gang is in the hills. There's half a dozen of them.
Yeah, you learned
kinda
where
about
to
it.
find them.
Yeah, and I have a horse. I have Cletus's horse.
Oh yeah, we
Sweet
still have
bun.
Cletus's
Sugar
horse.
bun, sweet bun.
Sweet bun.
Sweet bun.
Sweet
Never
bun the
forget.
horse.
Mm-hmm.
I'm envious.
And
I
after
have
the group
transport.
of a kind, after the group reconvened, there was then a ghost ship attack on the border of El Paso on the river. And with everyone's concerted efforts, they did successfully keep the people safe for most of that. But not without some injuries among the group. I believe that Casey James and also somebody else got hurt a little bit.
Me. I did.
You did? Oh, it's not on your. You need to add that condition to your sheet.
That's what I had.
Oh, it's not on there.
I put it at the bottom of notes. Where is conditions?
Oh, it's at towards the very top. It's next to your portrait.
Ah.
Yep.
Ah, bullet to shoulder.
Yeah. So we got a bullet to shoulder, and then we have a lacerated arm with shrapnel for Casey. It was an eventful night, but thanks to your efforts, as far as we're aware, nobody really lost their lives, but there was quite some damage to the south side of the city. And then after that, the last scene that we had before concluding our night and moving into the dawn phase was a short scene with Gertie meeting up with the Rurales just outside of town at a old rundown. It's like an old rundown pub or bar or something.
Yeah, it used to be a restaurant or something. You
Used to be a
said.
restaurant.
Mm.
Yeah.
Boarded up, the door wide open.
And in that, I think the main outcome from that scene was just that kind of the Rurales telling Gertie to like stay in their lane and let them do their thing. But honestly, none too threateningly, because Gertie and Poppy Diaz had a fairly positive relationship and also did a good role in the conversation there. They are less inclined to probably do any violence directly against the group of you in their pursuit of the gold, but their intentions are still clear to find it and secure it. So they are still a group and a danger to be considered. But unfortunately for our party, unfortunately for our Vigilance Committee, they aren't the only difficulty or danger, because at the very end of that night phase, as we were getting this concurrent scene with Deputy Calhoun, and he's having this unlucky night walking around town, checking on businesses and stuff, he gets back to the prison and discovers that his newest ward, old Cletus, was gone, that there had been some damage to the prison, probably as a result of the bombardment, and Cletus is away. And then we got one final scene, one little introduction to our mastermind, where we saw a man in the penthouse of the same hotel that currently houses two of our hunters. Both Cyrus Danforth and Casey James are staying at the Grand Maximilian, if I'm remembering that right. Yeah. So in the penthouse of the Grand Maximilian, we saw a figure in a dark suit, a darker cane, looking out at the city at night, drinking some tea, claiming that there's value there that others have not yet discovered. And he turned around, and we saw seated in the chair behind him one Cletus, fresh out of prison, apparently doing the bidding of this mysterious figure. Any details I missed that anyone wants to point out? Oh, we did get a couple of mastermind clues as well. Those were both related to each other. We got the black dog, when Felicity was in the graveyard. She saw this big black dog staring at her, and when she tried to take a step towards it, it bared its fangs and shook its head slowly in a all too human gesture. And then later, when leaving the meeting with the rurales, we saw the black dog once again, only this time with Gertie, it seemed to be following her, appearing from place to place as she made her way back into town. So those are the clues we've collected there thus far, both for the current threat and also for the mastermind. And with that summary out of the way, how are our hunters feeling? We feeling good? We feeling like maybe I don't have enough Kiwi coins to order a hydrate, but I would suggest one because we're gonna all be talking here in a second.
I mean, I have
You want us to
infinite
hydrate, or
Kiwi
you want the characters to hydrate?
Well, I don't know. Everybody should probably hydrate a little bit. Dixon,
There
thank
we
you for the
go.
hydrate.
Ah,
Appreciate you. Also, I feel like my chair is even creakier than normal. Hopefully that isn't coming in too loudly on mic, but
It's not coming through too loudly, but it is coming through.
I could switch chairs. I might do that. Just so that stops happening. It's away. It's like right there. It's right there. I'll be right there. 1 second. 1 second.
It will be an improvement.
Well, I dumped
As
water over
he
my desk.
knocks everything over as he gets
Yep.
up.
yeah. He just said he dumped water all over his desk.
Yep.
Whereas I'm sitting on a couch.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Did we even sleep? We
That's a
did
great
stuff
question.
at 9.
I would
Did we-
assume that the three of us, Felicity,
3 of us or 4
and
of us? Does Felicity
well,
sleep?
you went and talked to
Benito.
yeah, you went and talked to Benito alone.
But we also encountered the ghost ship at 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a
that's
question
true.
about that, by the way. I think an
Mhm.
important thing. Do we know? So we had the 2 events. We had the ghost ship, and then we had the wagon come through. Do we know when, in relation to each other, these events happened? Like, was the ghost ship when the ghost ship was an actual ship?
Yeah.
A real physical ship in like the 1860s. Like, did that happen going down the river before or after the wagon?
Is it an echo?
It is definitely connected. They definitely were contemporaries. You know that somehow this ship relates to the situation with the Rebel Gold, but that is up to collecting enough clues and having some answer questions or theorize, as they're called in Brundlewood Bay. You have to figure that out and establish that as a group from the information you've gathered.
Okay, so nowhere in the notes does it say ghost ship first, wagon second, or anything like that.
No, they
Okay.
are connected in some way. Your questions and opportunities, your current question, which I'll remind you, you have 6 clues, and your current question only has a complexity of 4. So you could easily answer this if you wanted to. And that current question is, where is the missing gold? And that will then unlock your following question, which I think I already told before, so I'll say it again. How can we use the missing gold to get the CSS Memphis to pass on to the next world? Which is a complexity 4 as well. So you'll need a roughly 8 clues in order to tackle everything, but you have to answer the first question first, and you can answer that whenever you'd like. So I pitch that to you, hunters. Actually, if you're thinking you want to maybe answer that with the clues you've collected already, then we could start with that here at the head of the day phase, and then I could introduce our next, because I have a fresh threat because it's a new day. So I get to introduce a fresh threat to you, and I'll be bringing that your way here shortly. But if we want to answer a question, I would totally go for that first, if you all are feeling ready for it.
Did we sleep or not?
Oh, you definitely slept. You got some sleep during the night. You're fine.
Also, did you at all want us to go over who we are playing?
Yes, thank you for reminding me. Yeah, quick, fresh reintroduction to the audience. Let's go in the order of what is in our character keeper. So starting off, Felicity J. Faust.
Sure. My name is Emma. My character's name is Felicity J. Faust. She's the Infernal playbook with some twists. and she makes deals and maybe sends people to hell.
And then we have the visionary Gertie.
Okay, Gertie Goddard, she's got the visionary playbook, think mad scientist kind of deal. She's currently working on researching both the ghosts that are happening at the moment during the Wounded Night and how to apply them to her terrible tinkering.
Love that.
Oh, she's a
Casey
slightly older
James.
woman married
Oh,
to
yeah.
that idiot over there.
Freshly married.
Freshly married, yes.
Casey James.
Yeah, I am playing Casey James, the legend. I've done awful things, and my name is well known. Essentially, I am a bounty hunter, and have made a deal with the proctor for the devil. If I'm using the proper words.
Proctor.
Proctor.
Maybe devil by proxy in this case.
Proxy, yes.
Advocate.
Yeah, the devil's advocate.
I guess that just leaves me if Miah's done. I'm
Little
Pat.
Cyrus.
The devil's
I'm
proctologist.
yes, I'm Pat, the devil's proctologist. No, I'm playing Cyrus Danforth, the Greenhorn. He's a Western dime novelist, a proclaimed expert on the West, but we'll see how effective he actually is come game time. That slowly is going to get himself haunted by characters in his books.
It's true.
Maybe
I
that's
hope we
the
can
complication.
work some of that in here soon.
Mm.
So, with our characters being introduced, and our whole game being recapped, we've faffed about enough. Do we want to answer a question, or do we want to move into introduce a new threat?
Probably close one chapter before starting another.
That would
Seems
be
reasonable.
that would be helpful.
Yeah, I feel like we're ready to move on to bigger and murderous things.
And shoot people in the other foot.
Pat over here, like, just tunnel vision from the last time we played. Rolling for like three threats by the very end. I can't talk today. That's going to be a problem.
Well, then let's hear it
So-
out. Does anybody have like a nugget of a theory for answering this question? I'll remind you, our current question is, where's the gold? Where's the missing gold? Where is it now?
Okay, quick pitch. We're all hanging out in Gertie's barn discussing this.
Love that.
See, look at that. I finally made it out to the pond.
Look at that.
You've been complaining about it. I finally made it out here.
Well,
Here
if
I
we're having
am.
this conversation in the barn, give us a quick description of what the barn is like, Gertie. I think you have like a little bit of stuff for that.
Do I? I'm just making shit
maybe.
up as I go along, right?
Hey, same.
Aren't we all? Isn't that the game?
Should we all
Dwelling
do
in.
it like a paint the
Okay.
scene question? And
I do have a
Yeah.
slight description for the dwelling. It is a large barn with a loft just out of town. There was a house, but it burned down after the original owner murdered his family, which is how Gertie got it really cheap. And Gertie lives in the loft. It's missing most amenities, but she has built a hot tub outside.
Okay, here's my pitch for a paint the scene question. What signs do you notice here in the loft or on your way to the building that showcase that the murdered family is like still around as ghosts, but they're mostly harmless?
Does anyone want to take that?
Yeah, and anyone welcome to add a detail.
I
ghost
think
fields.
ghost fields.
Ghost fields.
Yeah, they were farmers, so they take care of the farmlands still.
I get free food.
I don't know if you should
Oh.
be eating that, but okay.
It's a
It's
lot
great
of
for
power.
studying.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's fair.
yeah. I've tested it. I mean, my last minion possibly ate it.
Like
Who
that.
knows
Any other
where he is
details?
now? Oh, sometimes I wake up to find breakfast already cooked. Yeah, I like that one. Thank you, Dixon.
That's good.
Good. That's good.
He's got another one. The butter is always extra chilled. Frozen solid, practically. Yeah, I think I have like the ghosts probably clean the barn. Oh, this is great. Why do I even need Cyrus?
I don't know.
Well, you can't lean on
You
the
need
goodwill
a
of
lab
ghosts
rat,
forever.
right?
What was that, Pat?
You need a lab rat, right?
This is true. I need a lab rat, and I
Aw.
want to say that your family are my patrons, so they probably kind of insisted. You've
They're our
we've
sponsors.
taken all this money. Now we want you to pay us back by taking out one of our sons.
Jeez.
Get rid of him.
And I'm the bad guy.
Casey, Cyrus, any detail you want to add?
I think when you go to bed at night, you lock like whatever door. But then when you wake up in the morning, it's always unlocked and slightly open.
Oh, so there's a ghost pervert, right?
Do you want to take it that way? Okay.
What? Why else are they trying to come into my bedroom?
I meant more to like the barn as a whole. But
Oh,
okay.
the barn as a whole? Okay.
Yeah.
I think you constantly find stuff moved around, like tools that you set down somewhere. You set it down there, and then you turn around, and when you turn back around, it's like on a different table.
Okay. So we're in this technical workshop that is also just the right amount of haunted. The four of you are gathered here, and we're discussing your most recent haunting you've been dealing with. This big old ghost ship, this missing gold, the echo from yesterday, the various people you met and things you found. Where do we think that gold is? What's going on here?
So I sort of wonder and like the idea maybe has something to do with the church.
That seems reasonable to me,
Since there's a
considering
blueprint
that's where the tunnel goes.
and
as
a
well as
blueprint.
we have the blueprint of the church as well. So that's
Yep,
2 clues.
for sure.
How many do
Something
we
was
need?
taken.
4 or
We have 6.
5.
So yeah, you have 6. You can always roll with fewer clues. It's just for every clue you're missing to the threshold, you get a -1 to your roll, and for every clue you have above, you get a +1. So
+1 or additional dice.
+1.
Okay.
So if you're rolling for a complexity 4 and you use 6 clues, you have a +2 to the roll.
Okay.
So we want to try and use all 6 clues if we can.
Well, but remember, you have another question for this threat to answer afterwards, so you might want to save clues for that second question. It's up to you.
Oh, do some of them roll over? That's good to know.
Any you don't use roll over to the next question.
Oh,
Okay.
but we can't repeat clues.
You can't repeat clues.
Oh,
Weird.
this makes this hard. Then I want more clues.
Well,
But we're still
need to
gonna
use
find more
4.
clues.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, we could use 4 of the clues and then have 2 more, and then because the next question is
Yeah.
also a challenge of 4.
There's so many clues you can find. Don't feel like they're
Yeah.
precious, right? Like,
Yeah.
But if
Here's my pitch for the ones that we used for this one.
Yeah.
We have, of course, we didn't know where the gold came from. It was a misunderstanding, which feels like it's probably related to. Although one could also argue that that's. Let me finish one thought before jumping into another.
Also
We've
have
got
an idea.
that. I think the wagon tracks leading to or through a wall, to and through a wall. Something taken from Papi Diaz's dead body. Those all sound like things that are related to this. And then we could also technically do something like a secret tunnel lined with crude oil, or either of the
crude
big
oil
black
that you
grave
need.
dogs, because the mastermind clues count as well, yes?
Yep, if you want.
I thought the mastermind clues only counted towards the mastermind.
In a normal game, but my rule for any of the Brindlewood Bay or the Between Likes is if we're doing a limited series, you can just use mastermind clues as regular clues. It just makes things weirder because they're not like designed to go with the specific threats.
Okay, where did you first see the grave dog? Sorry,
At the church.
In a grave. At
in
the
a
church.
grave. So I think it's probably buried in a grave at the church, and I think we can use the guy who ran off to the tunnel, and the grave dog. But I don't know, and I don't know about the map because the map sounds like it could be helpful as well.
The map has to be helpful for this because I'm thinking ahead to the question we have to ask next, which is how do we get the
How does it
ghost
help us to get them to
the
go
ghost
away?
ship to go away? You know,
Mm.
once we have the gold.
I'm really
And
confused
so
about
I'm
So-
thinking any
the crude oil.
like track stuff, like the bloody footprint track and the wagon wheel tracks, and don't know where the gold came from, can be used in the next question to verify that the gold came from the ghost ship, and we can't get rid of the ghost ship until we return the gold to the ghost ship.
So
But
so we're thinking of using the tunnel clue.
tunnel
Okay.
for sure.
But
Yeah.
it's
The
the
tunnel
crude oil
clue.
that confuses me. Why is the crude oil in the tunnel?
I mean, it could just be that the tunnel was dug there and they happened to hit oil. Like
It could
you
be
can
that
explain
it's
that away.
gotten there
Yeah.
Yeah.
after the fact. Yeah.
True. It
So
has
the
been a
tunnel
number of
clue,
years.
the big black dog at the church.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Because I was
so,
also thinking we could maybe use the didn't know where the gold came from, it was a misunderstanding. Might be kind of fun that the gold was originally what's it called from the church? Offerings? Like the church's
yeah.
offerings?
Wow.
I was thinking, like, what if it's like ancient Mexican artifact or something like that?
Well, because
Could
if
make
we
an
do
argument
like,
for any of it.
because if we want to tie in the misunderstanding one is like, oh, maybe it was like the church's offerings, you could tie in the blueprint of the church.
We said that the church was one of the older buildings in town, right? As well.
I mean, when in towns like this, when you have settlers coming through, churches are one of the first things that gets built. So
Same with the hotel.
And we've also talked about how this town was originally like a Mexican settlement before it was like overrun with.
I mean, it would have to be with a name like El Paso.
True.
I mean, fair enough. I significantly doubt that the Mexican settlement across the Rio Grande from here was originally like truly separate from the community north of the border. It's just that lines have been drawn post wars that have created that distinction, right? So
the tracks that we found that also went through a building. What was the building?
So it went through a building that was near the river because you all discovered it near the river. So like there was some sort of track from around the river that then went through what is a building today. Maybe there wasn't a building there before. Maybe there's a secret doorway. You never we didn't dig into it deeper than that. But
I was just wondering if we
exist.
knew what the building was.
Mhm.
That one
As
would
far as
be
you're aware, it's
helpful.
some building by the docks. That's all the only detail we have. Of course, you're welcome to fill that out as part of a theory, and then act on that if that's what you want to do, or you can save it for the next one. I will say, from what it's sounding like, and what you're trying to kind of hold back some of them, it sounds to me like the ones we're looking at are the drawing of the Methodist Church floor plan. Maybe they were trying to your point, Miah, and a little bit Emma. Maybe they were trying to like return the gold to a church. Maybe it was stolen from somewhere across the border, and they're like, "Crap, this is bad." And so they tried to return it to a church, and that just didn't work out the way that they thought it would, or did. Like, who's to say? That's maybe due to answer in the next question. But either way, that explains why they would have a floor plan for the church. The secret tunnel as well was like a way to try to get it to there. The black dog could be a sign that it's buried there, because your point is that it's still buried there at the church. And then you could either use the shovel, pickaxe, and lime for like what they used at the time to dig open the grave to put it in. Or you could use any of the other ones and relate them to it. You could use the "we didn't know where the gold came from" as a misunderstanding, or that one also seems kind of useful for the next one, to be honest. But I leave it open to your discretion. But I think those first three make a lot of sense for the story you're weaving.
Weird question.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm just too much in love of the misunderstanding and that it was the church's offerings that like got stolen or something. But maybe this is just too much of my reading of books. But did people back then, when they were like injured or needed somewhere to stay, go to the church for help?
Probably. That would be
I mean, it would have
the people who would have the training to help you in all life
yes
situations.
and no. A lot of people of the cloth would be trained in some basic stuff for maybe dealing with some sicknesses if there wasn't already a doctor or something in town. But a lot of times you'd also be going to, of all places, a barber for that sort of thing, because barbers often were known to be have the hands that would be skilled enough to do things like surgeries and other stuff. So
I
it
didn't
would depend.
know. I sort of thought about like, what if somebody was like hiding out at the church and the misunderstanding was they were after the person, but then ended up getting the gold.
Let me here's where my brain has gone with some of this.
Yeah.
So church blueprints, like, to me, implies some level of like pre-planning, like they were scoping this out, or looking through something. However, we saw the wagon come through with, we're pretty sure, the gold in the bag on Papi Diaz's body that probably got taken off of Papi Diaz's body after he died. But he ran
to the stables.
To the stables. Okay.
I'd like.
No, someone. Yeah,
I'd
the
like
feed store with a black bag.
Yeah, so it was a Confederate with the bag that went into the feed store. Papi Diaz went off to the stables and died. But somebody still went to Papi Diaz afterwards. Like, there's a little bit of a timeline here that we don't know all the pieces of, right? The black bag could have been that, or it could have had the tools in it, and then that could have been taken through the tunnels to go to the church. Like,
the black
it's really up to you all to establish what was where. Answering this question is, where is the gold, right? So
I almost wonder if it's helpful for us to construct the narrative of what they were trying to do with the gold, where they were trying to take it, so then we can kind of like.
It almost sounds like with things with tunnels and blueprints and tracks that disappear into things, that there's some kind of long-term smuggling operation of some kind going on.
Pat, what were you going to say?
I'd like a quick distinction. Is it a drawing of the church blueprints or the church map? Because those have different implications.
So the wording of the clue is a drawing of the Methodist church floor plan in an unusual place. In our case, we found it in the spoke of one of the wheels of the carriage.
That sounds like blueprints. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like a floor plan, and like you could very easily tie in a floor plan with the shovel, the pickaxe, the lime, the secret tunnel lined with crude oil, all of those things go together. Sounds like they were
Well,
taking the gold from wherever they found it, brought it here, were planning on smuggling it through the tunnel.
it might even be that the church was built on top of the gold.
I was thinking, what if this church
Ah.
used to be a church to something else?
Where did we find the shovel, pickaxe, and such again?
That was
Graveyard.
In the cemetery.
in the graveyard behind the church.
Yep.
Okay.
It was buried in a shallow grave.
Because I was gonna say, I mean, the black bag that the ghost had could have held the tools, like these tools too.
Yeah. I kind of like the idea of treating the bag as a decoy because that feels reasonable to me.
And the gold was actually on Papi Diaz and whoever.
And so the gold was taken off of
encountered
his
the
body.
gold. Yeah.
Okay, now
So
from
then
the
we
top.
would
Now
have
we
to
have
determine.
less clues for this answer.
So,
But we're putting together a narrative, which
mm-hmm.
So, okay. So, here's what I'm hearing. Correct me if I'm wrong. There was an extant smuggling operation that was being conducted out of the church. It sounds like, because that's like why they already had the plans. That's why the tunnel was already in place, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds like if Papi Diaz had the gold, but the Rurales were still chasing the Confederates, it sounds like Papi Diaz may have been in on the operation, and he got double crossed. He got killed in this altercation, and then they took the gold off of him, or he just happened to, get caught in the fire, and his part was played, and they took it off him either way. And the tools were passed down into the tunnels. And then whoever the bloody footprints belonged to, they took the gold from Papi Diaz, and then it was if you want to have it buried at the church or hidden somewhere at the church. But then either way, the smuggling operation was dismantled because the Confederates were routed there at the back of the church. Their cart was destroyed, and they were routed by the Rurales. So basically, it got stuck there, and then everybody who might have known to do something with it, passed away one way or another. Is that kind of the vibe?
Let me
Yes.
expound on that. Okay. What if the wagon so I like the smuggling ring working out of the church. What if the smugglers robbed the ship, the ghost ship, took gold. The wagon was headed from the docks where a ship would be and went through a wall. So they transported the gold from the ship off the dock into the town via wagon.
Gotcha.
Other people in the smuggling ring take the gold from the wagon. They it may be Papi Diaz. Let's say Papi Diaz was one of them. They go to the feed store. Or where did we find the Papi Diaz bloody footprint set at?
At the stable, wasn't it?
I think we saw that in the flashback. That was like one of the zoom in things with Gertie.
Okay, because the tunnel. Oh yeah, because the tunnel we discovered because we saw in the ghost vision thing that
one of the Confederates had a black bag, and
one of the guys ran into the feed store, and then that's why we ended up in the tunnel. So
yeah,
I have a question.
Yeah.
I had two questions technically. What side was the USS Memphis on?
Confederates.
Okay. And what direction was the carriage going in? Towards or away from the dock?
I will say you all can decide that either way. It doesn't matter to the mystery, so it's something that you can establish if it better suits a narrative you're spinning.
We
It's
get
possible
flexibility with the clues, so
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
possible
totally.
Yeah.
here that they had stolen the gold already and were taking it to the USS Memphis, and the Reales were
Mhm.
trying to stop that from happening. So that's why Poppy ran off with it, making Poppy a good guy.
Yes.
Mm.
So Poppy was
What
trying
if
to
this-
recover it, but then he got caught by somebody. It
Someone.
doesn't even necessarily have to be a Confederate. It could literally just be somebody who saw that he had gold.
what if the smuggling ring was Union loyalists and they stole the gold from a Confederate ship?
So these were like fake Confederates on the
What?
carriage? Like they were disguised as Confederates on the carriage?
Yeah.
Interesting.
The ship was on the side of the Confederates, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, so they board the smuggling ring was on the side of the Union. They disguise themselves as Confederate soldiers, steal the gold, and then bring it to the church to then distribute to the Union cause later.
The Civil
We are
War's
weaving a
done.
complicated web with this.
Yes.
Yeah, we are.
And none of us are really nailing down anything.
I think let's back it up to what Sarah was saying.
We got
is that
we got
I think-
3 hours to come up with a theory, right?
Well, 2 hours.
Okay, so
now.
I like the idea that Sero put out that like the gold was from the boat to the wagon, got stolen.
Well, I
and
think Sarah
Diaz
was saying
tried
that
to get
it was
away,
from
right?
somewhere else and they were taking it to the boat.
To the via wagon.
Oh, you're taking it to the boat?
Yeah,
So it
because
would
they were
be-
Confederate soldiers going to a Confederate boat, is what I was wondering.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
I think that that's really interesting. I like that idea. And then they got so their plan was to get it on the ship and then, we assume downriver or whatever. But they got waylaid by the rurales because they found out what the Confederates were doing, attacked them. That would explain. And then, it sounds, if that's the case, like the rurales also have a pretty good claim to the gold, or at least have a reason to be upset about it being taken.
I think that we should do that because in my notes the rurales also were like the law enforcement / military. Of the
Yeah,
town.
they're loosely related to law enforcement in
Yeah.
Mexico.
And
Yeah,
then we could
it's
say
like
we
a
just take the
militant
gold
group.
to the wreck of the ship, and then those ghosts will go away. Then we bless the gold, and we can take the gold and give it to the Royales, and everyone's happy, right?
I don't know if it'll be that
Potentially.
easy.
Here's hoping. But first we
Everyone
have to
here
figure
does
out where the
exclude
gold
the
is
Skaggs
now.
Brothers gang, but
Yeah.
The gold has I think we all agree the gold has to be somewhere in the church, right?
Which means I think that Myrna Stokes was probably the one who took the gold off of Poppy Diaz's body.
But
Oh,
then
you want to
wouldn't the
incorporate
church
Myrna
be
into
all
this?
pretty and expensive looking now?
I
If she
mean,
did.
to Myrna's own words, if she had the gold, this church would be fixed. Like,
Yeah,
That's true.
and Myrna doesn't have it.
That's a great thing to say if you're trying to hide the fact that you have this gold.
That is also true.
So we're
Okay,
making
so-
Myrna the bad guy here.
So
If you want to tie the Skaggs brothers into it, maybe one of the Skaggs brothers nicked off with it from Papi Diaz and buried it in the church, and now everyone's trying to find where it
Well-
was because the dude died. So someone killed him
Yeah.
as well.
So yeah,
Okay.
so because the leader of the Skaggs group was what, a brother or something, and then the
Yeah.
other brother killed him in order
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
whatever.
Oh,
and
that's
plus,
right.
like, what's his face was super pissed
Okay.
and just like, I want the church's plans, and I was like, fuck you.
So here's my pitch. Here's my
Okay.
pitch. Confederates were trying to bring the gold to the ship. One of the Confederates in that group was actually the eldest Skaggs brother, who is now dead.
Yep.
He, when the confusion happened, essentially betrayed the cause and went and hid the gold for himself later at the church. He kept a record of it. He's the one who put it in the spoke, the map of the church for where the gold was. But then, before he could go back and collect on that years later, he gets killed by his youngest brother, who wants his position in their gang. And maybe his dying words to him is like basically like, now you'll never get the gold. Like, haha, like, you know, middle finger to you.
You'll dig and you will never find it.
And so now he, like, that's how the Skaggs brothers know about it. That's why they feel obligated that it's theirs. And that's why how he knew to like start looking like around the church and stuff. And then you all like found that map, and then he like wanted to take that from you. And so it kind of explains their involvement. Okay. I think we have a narrative.
So then it's in the church, but Myrna, nobody in the church knows that it's in the church.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was buried there by the oldest Skaggs brother. Okay, so let me actually mark away which
I like that.
clues we are
It ties
using.
everything in, and it makes Papi a good guy, and it means everyone wants the gold, and everyone thinks they have a claim to it.
All right, so clues we have definitely used. We've definitely used secret tunnel.
Have we?
We're secret tunneling here. The bloody footprints in the dust. That's going to be.
I don't think we
I don't
used
know if
the
we really
secret
used
tunnel.
the secret tunnel.
You think so?
We've used the church blueprints, but like nobody. There's no reason to actually use the secret tunnel.
Okay. So
since they came
church,
in by
church
wagon.
blueprints, shovel, pickaxe, and lime then for like explaining how he buried it or whatever, and then hid the tools.
So we can use them again later.
And then, do you want to use the wagon tracks on this, or do you want to use the claiming we don't know where the gold came from? It was a misunderstanding.
So if we make it, we didn't know where the gold came from. It was a misunderstanding, and
where did that clue come from?
That was from watching the wagon come through.
Yeah, it was in the echo. One of the Confederates yelled that out towards the rurales.
So it sounds like maybe the Confederates initially stole it from something associated with the rurales.
Yeah. I mean, according to them, definitely. Like, what's his name?
Maybe the Mexican church it got stolen from or something.
Benito Diaz definitely thinks that gold is property of Mexico, one way or another.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so definitely using that. Definitely using church blueprints.
Okay.
Definitely using shovel, pickaxe, lime.
So that's 3 clues.
We certainly
footprints.
could use the wagon tracks. And that could just be like, that's where the wagon went back before.
But the fact that there's still modern wagon tracks going through, presumably through a wall, is what I'm thinking. It's for something else.
Maybe you save that one if you want to explore that further. What I will say is you're at 3 right now. If you also use one of the black dog ones on this, especially since it was like in the graveyard over one of the graves, you could get 4 and have a flat roll if you want to.
And we got the bloody footprints too, right? From someone
if you want to use
from
them.
Papi.
Is that
a black dog? Could be some sort of like omen or like signal.
Was it the same?
We could definitely incorporate it as a clue, as like we must be on the right track because we're getting attention from something.
Yeah. If we're saying that Papi was the one who had the gold when he died, and the bloody footprints of the person, presumably the elder Skaggs brother who took the gold off of him, that's a clue as well, right?
Yeah.
What is this?
Black dog. Because I have a really cute idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
The black dog couldn't have been Papi Diaz's, and he's been waiting for him to return. And so when we found the dog at the church, it's just like, you're so close. Because then later the black dog follows Gertie.
He does, doesn't he?
That is cute.
Yeah.
That takes everything David's been trying to do that's foreboding, and it turns it into...
And that's why it's showing us where it is, and it's buried in a grave. Is that what we're saying?
I beat David.
What if Papi Diaz is the mastermind? What if he's been alive the whole time?
What?
It could be kind of cool to like have the dog be at the church, and just be like, you're on the right path.
It did seem odd that it was following Gertie. So if you say that, that gives it a good reason to follow Gertie.
Well, because also you met up with Papi Diaz's son,
yes,
who the dog would be familiar with.
Yeah. Okay, I think the dog is Puppy Diaz's
Okay,
ghost
here's
or soul or
here's my
something.
argument then. You are integrating both black dog clues, so that's going to be using up
Yeah.
both
That's
of
true.
those.
I think
for
Okay,
this
so.
narrative.
so
All
if
right.
that's
Okay,
the
so
case,
+1.
actually, the only ones we're not using then are the
Secret
wagon
tunnel
tracks
and wagon tracks.
And the tunnel.
and secret tunnel. So
Yeah.
that
Yep.
puts us at 1, 2, 3,
6.
4, 5,
Five.
6. Okay, cool.
6. Yeah, 6.
I don't know why you're holding on to the secret tunnel. I don't know how that's going to help us in the next question we have to answer.
Well,
Well, no reason to burn it now. Wait till you get some
Yeah.
more clues to flesh it out, right?
it's
You already are at
just
6
that,
clues for this. You don't need more.
it's the modern
Who
wagon
knows?
tracks that are going through a wall and a secret tunnel. They seem related, so I didn't.
We
really
might
want to
literally
include
need
those.
this tunnel, Pat.
That's right.
Mm,
You
yeah.
might- How do you know?
You might have to go in there again,
All right.
Pat.
The most important. I don't have to go in there. Cyrus
right.
has to go in there.
We have
So-
spun our wheels on this theory.
Yeah.
All right,
So
I think we have an
so
answer.
I think this is
Who
good.
wants- Who wants to give the official theory and roll?
Well, we've heard the theory.
Yeah.
We need the roll.
But it's
Who wants to roll?
blueprints, tools, misunderstanding, and both dogs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the misunderstanding, footprints, church
Yeah.
plan,
Footprint.
tools,
Yeah,
both
yeah,
black dogs.
okay.
I
I'll do
would never recommend myself in this situation because I have terrible rolling, but I have 2 re-rolls I can burn through.
That's true.
True. I had
Ooh,
one
okay.
as well.
So it should not be
Pat.
me.
Oh, yeah,
We'll
it should
have to
not be
roll
her.
at disadvantage.
You've convinced us, Pat.
Yep. Go for it, Pat.
I'll give
Don't
it a
fuck this
shot.
up.
Here we
You have a
go.
plus
Good
2
luck.
and 2
You have a
rerolls.
plus
so.
2.
+2 and 2 re-rolls. Go, Pat. Go, Pat. You got this.
That is it's a +2 because of the clues.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That is an 8.
8.
Okay.
Hey, that's a mixed success.
That's a mixed. Should I
You got 2
burn
rerolls.
one?
Why not burn 1?
Should I burn one and see if I do better?
Yeah, be chaos. Let it in.
Be
Burn 'em
chaos.
both.
Yeah.
Here's the problem.
Use a mask.
Whatever the last one I roll is what we have to go with.
If
So
he uses
Yeah.
a mask, we all have to use a mask.
It's true.
Is that what
Wow.
how his works? Is it?
No, that's how rolling on answering a question works.
holy crap!
What?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Or snake eyes.
I got 11 plus 2, so that's 13.
Hey! That's it. That's the one.
Okay. Yep.
Well,
I rolled-
fresh
Let's get
reminder.
this mastermind going.
Yeah.
I rolled a shrimp and a 5.
Hell yeah.
So for answer a question on a 12 plus, not only is the answer correct and an opportunity can be pursued, but also the mastermind will reveal themselves while the hunters are pursuing the opportunity.
Yeah.
So
It only took us till 7:15.
And it's really Myrna Stokes.
We had text problems.
yeah, I'm just warning everyone now. We're gonna run a little long tonight. If you all have the stamina for it, we'll see what we can pull off.
You can
though.
blame me. I had tech issues.
Yeah. it's
I
not
have a
Pat's fault.
meeting after this that I have to go to. Just kidding.
Oh yeah.
No, you
Mhm.
don't.
Late at night, huh?
If you have a meeting at
A
10
meeting with your
o'clock at
husband.
night,
It's a vampire, okay? It's for the next campaign.
Fair enough.
LOL.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
is that a
I'm
So-
kidding.
spoiler? Are we getting vampires in the next Monsters Playbook campaign, Maya?
I sure hope so.
Is that what you
That'd
just
be
told
cool.
me?
I'll let Johnny know.
I'm
They'll be
excited.
like, whoa.
So
Anyway.
you have this conversation. You come to this conclusion here at the out at the barn, out here at the farm, where Gertie makes her homestead. And you, after coming to this conclusion, you hear a knock on the door to the barn, and then you hear a fairly familiar voice call out, "Hey, Deputy Calhoun. I think I heard talk that the committee was meeting this morning, talking about the events of last night. I could really use y'all's help with something here in town.
Is it a ghost?
Well, we're not so sure. Can I come in?"
It's your
Can I answer the
funeral.
door?
My funeral?
Yeah, you
Come
can
on
come in. Don't mind the ghosts.
He like cracks the door like hesitantly, like, don't mind the go. All right, it's just a barn. Okay. I think there's like the attic loft where the four of you are, and he kind of like waves up. He's like, "You want me to come up there, or you come down here, or?"
Oh, I'll come down. Don't touch anything. And there's like stuff covered in giant sheets.
Yeah, he's like,
And
"All
tarps.
right." Well, it's nothing too much. Just y'all been reading the paper lately?
Which paper?
The fake news.
Well, I mean, there's only really the main paper here in town. You know, me looking at the notes.
Assume no. Tell us more.
El Paso Times. Just the El Paso Times, or
Oh, I get the El Paso Gazette.
oh, kind of like cocks his head, like who does that one?
Dixon just tipped $30.
Oh shit!
A reroll each and a complication. A complication for who, Dixon?
Yeah, who do you want to give the complication
Yeah.
to? That will matter.
Mine will be really fun. So will Casey's.
I don't remember what mine is.
I
Mine's
So it'll
also
be a
really
surprise.
fun.
So it'll be a
Mine's not really
surprise for
set
me
up.
too.
I don't remember my name.
Casey
needs one.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, Casey needs more complications. That's
I,
for sure.
I will say Casey and Felicity's I think are my favorite complications. So
don't
because
even
both of
remember
them
what mine is.
introduce NPCs, I was excited to introduce. So
Neat.
cool, wonderful. That will transpire this sometime during today's episode, but we'll see when that happens.
Calhoun, get
now.
talking.
Yeah,
The burning
okay.
daylight.
Sure. Sorry. Here you are. And he pulls out today's copy and he kind of lays it out. He goes over to one of the sheeted, like what looks to be like a box, and he's like, "Is this like a crate? Can I lay this out here?" Or you told me not to touch nothing.
Sure. Just touch the sheet.
All right. And he kind of like very gently. He is real spooked by what you got going on here, and gently lays out the newspaper. And he says, "Well, we got a couple of headlines, and he pulls out another newspaper and lays out like the one from the week before. Well, there's been some stuff going on, and I'm just going to read out. This is the summary for this threat. He introduces you to. There's been a series of burglaries that have taken place on Santa Fe Street. Gambling halls, saloons, private safes have all been hit. The newspapers, here sitting before you, have dubbed the perpetrator the Phantom Burglar of Santa Fe Street, on account of rumors suggesting the criminal was able to pull off the heists without opening doors or windows, and in one case was said to have been shot at point blank by a security man, but the bullet passed right through them without a scratch. Others call the burglar the Daisy Man, since the calling card of a single daisy was left at each crime scene. Who has the highest reason among you?
Maybe
Reason
me.
2 for Gertie. Yeah,
Me.
that figures. So Gertie, this is not trickery or smoke and mirrors. What detail from the newspaper stories confirms the burglar can literally walk through the walls?
Is this where we can use that? Hey, can I ask first where Santa Fe Street is? Is it the one near the docks, which has the building with the modern day tracks going through the
Santa
wall?
Fe Street is like the main drag. This is what the
That's the
Grand
main drag.
Maximilian is on. This is where the feed store is located.
Okay.
This is where like it kind of stretches the length of the town. So there's like various homes and businesses that dot the street.
Yeah, but is it the old Santa Fe or the new Santa Fe?
This is the center of town, the main
The
drag.
center of town. And the question you're asking me is what's in the article shows that it could be a ghost?
Well, either a ghost or someone using some power you are unaware of the source of. What makes it clear that this person is not like employing trickery or smoke and mirrors? They are literally phasing through things. Like they're literally walking through walls, either as a
Or
ghost
so the
or otherwise
eyewitnesses
incorporeal.
say.
Well, I think that's the reason too here of Gertie is you can deduce that this person indeed is becoming incorporeal, either as a spirit or otherwise. What detail jumps out at you?
I just want you all to know that Santa Fe is Spanish for holy faith.
Okay.
It was a fucking church.
What detail in the paper makes it seem apparent?
Something
I'm
that
open-
Gertie would notice.
Yeah, something that Gertie would notice.
Could there be some sort of relation to the places or people where they've been hit? Like there's a connection between each of them?
I can ramble off the places if you want a.
Yeah. You said
Yeah,
it's
Maybe
so
the
it's maybe it's the
So-
family of whose barn you took over.
The Rio Grande Gambling Saloon was the first victim of the burglaries. The Golden Spur, a collection of oh no, that's just a part of the gambling saloon. Santa Fe Street Boardwalk, like there have been some vendors hit along there. The various private homes on Santa Fe Street have been hit. And then the First Bank of El Paso has concerns. And we're going to get to that here as we
They have
continue describing this.
concerns. Have they been
Well, 'cause
stolen
They're
from? or-
also
they're
on Santa
worried
Fe.
they're next?
They're also on Santa Fe
Indeed.
Street. They're opening new now. So the second half of this I was going to read after you answer this question.
Could it be because every other
relates to
business
that.
around them has been hit?
Yeah. What I'll say is a Stagecoach has just delivered a large cash deposit to the First Bank of El Paso, which will be having its grand opening any day now. A likely target for the Daisy Man.
Gotcha.
Okay.
But
This is my brain not wanting to work.
Does Gertie have an ex-lover that has something to do with daisies?
Yeah, possibly. I mean,
I'll tell you, I've
Florist.
had just about enough of this ex-lover talks out of you.
he doesn't
Got a problem
know.
having a wife who has a sexual history?
No,
been
I'm
married
just tired of
before.
hearing about it.
Fair enough.
Maybe Gertie is actually already been called in to investigate them previously from ghost sightings. So she's familiar with the where it was stolen from, and so she knows how locked up and how good everything is. So when
Yeah.
it says they seemingly came through walls, she knows how thick those walls are and how solid and locked up everything is. I can't think
It
of
said
anything
several
else.
private residences were
Yeah.
were hit, right? Could
as well,
Gertie
yeah.
have could Gertie have built a safe room or something in one of them? And so she knows
Yes.
Contracted
exactly how
out?
safe
Yeah.
and secure it is.
Even
Yes.
Did
even
we
one of
shout
Gertie's
out
safe
yet
rooms was
that Sero
compromised.
has a +1 to her next roll?
We should mention
Not
that.
yet.
No, we didn't, but I did make a note of it already.
Okay.
Thank you.
So yeah, I think then Gertie had worked on one of the safe rooms after the robberies began, and it was still compromised. No sign of break-in past any of your traps or guards.
Yeah.
So it makes it clear that this person can literally just go through walls.
Yep. That sounds good. That's better than what I said.
Well, it establishes a connection between you and some of the people, which is maybe useful as well.
Yeah.
It works off of what you said.
So yeah, this opens
Yeah.
up then our first question for this one, which is the Daisy Man a ghost or a living person? This is only a complexity 2 question, so you only need to gather a couple of clues to make this easy. Or, and this is always something that I wholeheartedly endorse when playing the Between, this would only be a -2 on the roll to just go for it now.
I mean, I did it with only one clue that didn't associate with the thread at hand in the podcast.
So are you volunteering to roll again since you have one reroll? Well, I guess we all have one. You have 2 rerolls.
Yeah, he has
Yeah,
2
you
again.
got 2 again.
yeah, I
it
have 2
shouldn't be me.
again.
All right, Pat.
So
Do we
It's up
want to
to
make
you,
a
bud.
theory and solve the Daisy Man right now and
Well,
make David
Yeah.
sweat out
This
what
is-
he's going to do next?
this is the
Yes.
first question. This is like there's a potential 3 stages to this one, so it can get complicated. This is your first question. Is the Daisy Man a ghost or a living person? Easy question to answer. Yes or no, one way or the other.
I think
think
it's
Gertie's
more fun
already
if he's a
leaning
living
yes or
person.
no.
Gertie's already
Uh,
leaning towards it's probably a ghost.
He's a revenant.
Yeah, is there a maybe is there an in between state, a demon phantom
Zombie.
sort of situation?
I do not have a neck. Well, here's what I'll say. I
Astral
think
projection.
if it's an in-between state, then the answer is he's a living person. And just
Okay.
like asterisk, he's a living person asterisk, right? Either
He's in a coma nearby.
a totally great explanation.
I
I
think
I think it's more fun if they're a living person.
they're a living person.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I
Should
think,
we-
especially if we have specifically tied in that Gertie has like built a place, you know that she put like ghost traps and shit in there. You know she did. So if they didn't get triggered,
Maybe we need to go look at the place then to see if they've been triggered or not.
Yeah,
Because
you can totally check out one of the
mundane
homes.
layman would have no idea.
So if you think that it's a person, let me get that roll. -2.
I would love to roll for you.
Yeah.
For
minus 2
sure
and you
we
got-
want to do this. I think it's fun if we do.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, you've got 2 rerolls, so
Yeah. Burn through them, right? I'm going to use one of them. I'm not going to
Yeah.
tell you what that was, but it isn't good.
It's
it doesn't
bad.
exist. It doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist. Doesn't matter. That is a 7. Do we
After
want to
the minus
re-roll
2?
again?
Do you get to
What?
go back to the reroll?
I
You get to go
rolled-
back to a previous roll.
I rolled a 9, which makes it a
Okay,
7
nice.
because of the
Yeah.
-2. So
I mean, that is a mixed success.
that's a mixed success, which makes it fun. Could be fun.
What?
It
What a
could be
mix of
both.
successes again?
You know, why not both? It's
a
a
You
mixed
know
success-
what?
person who
You know
uses
what?
ghosts.
I want to hear what happens first before I decide if I want to re-roll or put on a mask.
All right. So just to be clear, mostly that's for your day and night move stuff, and to some extent the information move. Answer a question's a little bit different, but I will quickly describe what a complication means for this. On a 7 to 9, not only are you correct and the opportunity can be pursued, but I will also add an unwelcome complication to the answer, and or while you're pursuing the opportunity, it will become more dangerous.
Could be
So
fun.
this
That seems reasonable.
Could be fun. I say we stick with the 7.
I agree.
Yeah, okay.
Especially
I-
since we
shoot
like
someone.
literally just heard about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I will therefore introduce to you your new question, which is now that you've established that the Daisy Man is a living person, if the Daisy Man is a living person, which you've established they are, how are they using their power of the Wounded Knight to become incorporeal? That's a complexity 6 question. How are they using the power of the Wounded Knight to become incorporeal? And you can this then opens up the opportunity, once you've answered it, to resolve the threat by laying a trap for the Daisy Man and capturing or destroying them. And then that gives the hunters access to the new move, Spectral Form. So if you defeat the Daisy Man, you get to use his shit.
Told you it could be
Cool.
fun.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Okay, so how are they using the power of the Wounded Knight?
You said that's
That's
6
good.
question.
Yeah,
or
it's
6
complexity
clues.
6. So you'll need some clues for this. Also, my pitch for this session, since we're halfway into it right now, and we're still deeply in day phase territory, I think we're just going to go oops all day phase today, and then next session will be oops all night phase.
And make
Interesting.
this the last mystery.
Yeah, and this will be our last day cycle of this collection
Yeah.
of mysteries.
Okay.
Which means
Okay.
you all get to have a ton of narrative control this session, and next session I get to have a ton of narrative control.
That
Okay.
sounds fun for
Okay.
the finale.
Yeah.
Okay. Should we
did we
divide up
get-
differently this time?
Well, can I ask a clarifying question?
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
guessing these places that were robbed, their stuff was taken. It wasn't untouched.
Oh, yeah. This
Okay.
like they were robbed and a daisy was left behind. Calling
Okay.
card.
Got it.
So we want to investigate that safe that Gertie built, and also discover what was taken. Are the
And so
obvious
there's the
things we're looking
saloon.
for.
There's saloon, number
Rio
of vendors on
Grande.
boardwalk, and then private residence, and then the bank is worried.
And specifically, information that will be passed on to you from the deputy. Deputy Calhoun will tell you, yeah, as far as the money coming into the bank, keep this on the down low that there's this big shipment, of course. Like, we don't want to, make the bank a target of any of the Daisy Man, of course, but also of any like local vagabonds or any of that kind of stuff. But it's all partly in service of restoring the town. You know what happened last night there on the coastline, and apparently there was already a bit of a shipment on the way, but a local donor is bringing some money in to help pay for some of the repairs. If you want to learn more about that effort, maybe that effort itself might be targeted. You could always talk to him in the penthouse of the Grand Maximilian.
Who's the name of the local donor, Calhoun, deputy?
Something Beauregard. It's like H Beauregard.
H. Beauregard.
Is that you asking us what his first name should be?
No, he has it.
Oh, I have it.
Probably Horace or something. What time of the
Humphrey.
day or night did the robberies happen? Were they able to narrow that down, or?
Oh, that's a good question. Do I have that information for you?
Because I want to know if it's weak ghosts or powerful ghosts at night.
I'm gonna say these are robberies. It makes more sense for them to mostly be at night, although maybe that's not every case. I'd have to read through all of the side character quotes to see if I have a straight answer there, but I'll say probably mostly at night. If you investigate and speak with some of the people directly affected, I will say Deputy Calhoun hasn't looked into this so much himself, because there's a few people on staff and he hasn't been out to each of these, and also this is more like reporting by the Gazette. No, it's not the Gazette. The Gazette is the fake one.
The
Times. And so he's mostly just kind of extending that reporting to you. It's finally been raised enough attention to the lawmen here in town that this might be a real risk.
Is the sheriff
that is the economic paper in El Paso.
Maybe Gertie's got a printing press under one of these sheets.
That would be hilarious.
She is the Gazette, the ghostly Gazette. Is the sheriff back?
Oh, you mean the marshal?
The marshal?
You mean Marshal Jefferson Stockley?
Oh, yeah, I think the marshal's back, but he's been in the bathhouse most of the morning. It was a long trip on the dirty, dusty road, and you know how the marshal's particular about that sort of stuff.
Just checking.
You know how I don't want Pat to have to play more than one character on screen at the same time.
No, just David. Just David who does that.
That's right.
So meta.
But Deputy Calhoun's like, well, that's what I got for you. Is there anything else you need from me? Feel free to drop by the station. Of course, I'm going to be doing some masonry today.
Cleaning up from last night?
Well, yes. Somebody went and poked a hole in the prison last night.
Excuse me?
Poked a hole?
Oh, he looks at Casey real nervous, and he's like, well, you remember our conversation last night? I was gearing up to go, do my rounds about town, make sure that people, good people of El Paso feel safe in the evenings. Well, when I got back from my rounds, totally, beyond my own purview. Well, there was that cannon fire laid down by that ghost ship.
Can you spit those words, goddamn, out of your mouth?
Well, there's a hole in the wall, and the prisoner was gone. I think Cletus might be at large again.
Oh,
so
that was a mistake on his part.
So help me.
The walls were perfectly good when I left it. Door wasn't tampered with at all. Somebody, how could I expect a ghost ship with cannons gonna blast a hole in the wall?
Well, I would assume that you're a competent deputy if you're deputy. Deputy?
Well, I locked up.
I put a hand on Casey's shoulder. You really haven't been here very long.
If I find him, I'm bringing him back to you, dead or alive, double the bounty that was on his head.
We already paid it out once. It's the state that funds that kind of stuff. That's
Well,
it.
It's the state that lost him.
Exactly.
At any rate, you should probably hop to and fix that wall before more of you criminals get let loose.
Well, nobody else is
I would
in
argue
the
that
jail right now.
you should be going looking for Cletus if you don't want to pay out the bounty again to KC.
Well,
We'll
I
see
gotta
who gets
fix,
it first, you or me, deputy.
I gotta fix the wall first. So, Marshal's orders.
Well, sounds like you'll be paying me double my fee.
Okay. I'll talk to the marshal about it. I'm not making
Good
no
answer.
promises, but I'm not saying no either. Well, I'm gonna kind of tip this hat. I'll see all y'all later. Good luck with the ghost or
Yes,
whatever's
you
going
will.
on. And if you see Cletus around, you bring him in, would you?
I'll think about it.
Hydrate.
Hydrate.
Hydrate or dihydrate.
Gonna make me take a second sip.
Yeah. So Deputy Calhoun waltzes off regretfully into the day. Gonna roll up his sleeves and get some mortar on his hands as he fixes up the wall. Meanwhile, the four of you are here at the barn. You're just outside of town. You got a couple of concerns going on right now. Not only do you have, you've answered the question, you know that there's some gold to be had somewhere in the church. You got a map that may be able to lead you there. But also, there's some kind of mess going on. There's been some places hit along Santa Fe Street. Daisy Man on the loose, which you believe is some man who can turn himself incorporeal, which sounds pretty risky. What's the plan, Stans?
Oh, yeah, we gotta dig up the gold. Does someone want to go do that while the rest investigate?
I had to go visit Myrna again anyway, so why not?
Husband, why don't you go and roll up your sleeves?
Let's go
and
dig
do
up some
manual
gold. I
labor?
gotta redeem myself for the floorboard yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
What's your
For
plan,
all of-
Casey?
Let me roll something real quick to figure out what I want to do.
The dice will decide.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'm going after Cletus.
Yeah.
Leaving Gertie to investigate alone.
If that's not too off track, David.
No, you're welcome to. It's your day cycle.
Okay.
You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, we got an hour and a half.
I mean, I know
I
where
worry about you being alone to do that, but I don't need to worry about that.
He's got another foot.
I've been on my own for a while.
Aim a
I
little
know
bit
where
higher
the-
next time. And it's jingle jangle.
So then we've got Felicity going to the church. We've got Casey going off to find. Where are you
going
heading, by the way, to look for him?
I'm going to the hills.
Going to them there hills. All right.
Yep, on Cletus's goddamn horse.
Oh, the horse might know the way.
Fair
Man,
enough.
imagine getting caught by your own horse.
I don't have to imagine. I've watched the movie Tangled, Pat.
I was gonna say.
Fair. You're
Maximus
absolutely
would like to
right,
know
and
your
I
location.
apologize.
Truly.
The horse is actually Ed.
Mr.
Nobody.
Ed?
The famous Mr. Ed. Pat, where's Cyrus going to? I forgot.
I'm gonna go help dig up the gold.
You go help him dig up the gold, and then that means that Gertie, you're going to go and check your work at Santa Fe Street. All right, cool.
Yep.
I do want to actually pick up first because I think it'll get everybody else's brains working past it. Let's pick up first at the church. So we've got Cyrus Danforth and Felicity Faust. The two of you today, much like most days this season in El Paso, is rather dry, a little bit humid here by the river, and not as much wind, not as much dust being kicked up today, or at least there wasn't until you got closer and closer to the church. But already, the building project that Felicity Faust has so graciously supported here is underway. There's a crew of people. But how many people do you think are tasked on the project, Felicity?
How big's the church?
It's an institution. It could probably fit 50 or 60 people in the like main area. So like for a town of this size, reasonably sizable.
Okay. I would say there's probably like 6 or 7.
Okay. Yeah, 6 or 7 able-bodied folks, not wearing any of the protections you would hope under OSHA regulations, because that's not really a thing right now. And there's like a couple who are carrying a big
Who's
heavy
OSHA?
wooden
Don't
beam on
know
one
her.
shoulder. And there's like several that are like peeling off old boards from the side that are burned away. One of the first tasks of the morning seems to have been clearing out a lot of this alleyway. So too bad if there was any evidence that was still lingering in there, because that's all like in a heaping pile, and it would be tough to find anything there at this point. But
Sero seems so upset about that.
the crime scene has been disturbed, but the building is being worked on, and you see a like absolutely elated Myrna standing outside, like calling out some light directions to the crew that is otherwise mostly ignoring her because they kind of know what they're doing.
Yeah.
When the two of you approach, what's the approach? Give me the scene.
So, Felicity, where do you suppose this gold is hiding anyway?
Oh, goodness. Well, you went through the secret tunnel, so it's not in there, probably.
Just a bunch of oil.
I don't know. I haven't really... I didn't step in through more than just the foyer last time I was in, so...
Do we...
I don't even know that I have enough of an idea of the church to even take a guess.
Do we think maybe it's buried deeper underneath where that dog was at?
That's an idea. We've been assuming it's in the church, but it is possible it's in the graveyard instead.
I'd say it's perhaps worth checking out anyway.
Let me go and distract Myrna. And you go get your hands dirty.
Sounds like a plan. Let's put it into action.
Right on.
I tell you, this is going to be great research for my book I'm working on.
Digging in the dirt.
Ghosts, ships, probable cursed gold. It's going to make one heck of a Western ghost story. I'm telling you. The readers are just going to eat it up.
They'll never believe it.
That's the point of it being fiction, right?
It's always the right time of day to violate a graveyard. The two of you split up. You head towards Myrna, Felicity. We'll pick up with you first as Cyrus makes his way out behind the building to the graveyard. Myrna is there calling out directions and instructions, and she sees you almost immediately, and she says, "Felicity, bless the Lord, you're here. I saw the folks you sent out this morning. They're already doing fantastic work, stripping off the old cladding on the building, and you can see they're replacing the joist. That the steeple was at risk of falling. I've been telling people for years, but it's just such a delight to see this coming together. And you know, your interest has sparked other interests as well. Other people have been coming up to me this morning talking about wanting to work on similar projects around town. Isn't that great? Isn't that fantastic?"
That's lovely to hear. I'd love to get their names from you if you don't mind.
Of course, actually, he was stepped out for a second because of all the commotion, but I think yeah, he's right over there. And she gestures, and you see a gentleman. There's like a gaggle of people here on Santa Fe Street who are watching the commotion.
Gaggle's a good word.
But standing on the corner, kind of standing back, leaning against one of the buildings, watching idly, he's got a cane that his hand is draped over as he's watching this interaction occur. He's an older man. He's got gray speckled hair and gray eyes, the color of impure coal dust. As he watches all these bodies moving, he's got almost like a playful smile on his face. And even before you turn to look at him, you can see he's already looking at you. And Myrna, as she's waving at him, he gives a gentle wave back. And she says,
I'll wave
"Yeah,
back.
he's an industrialist from out of town, but he's been in El Paso here ever since the train arrived, and well, he thinks that this land, he shares my vision of this being a restoration of God's kingdom here in El Paso, not just restoring the Methodist Church, but even erecting new buildings across town. The church was built back when the population of the town was only less than 250, and now we're up to damn near two. Oh, sorry, it's been a wild morning. Approaching 2,000 people, and there's just so much capacity for God's love to be rained down upon this town, and Mr. Beauregard, well, he thinks he can help see that through.
Indeed, that's great to hear. Yeah, I'll have to say hello. I wanted to check in with you first, just to get an idea of what sort of work might need to be done on the inside. If you could give me a little bit of a tour.
Oh, I'd be delighted. They are working on the outside, and they're restringing up that beam. Well, the building's in not the best of shape, of course. There could be a bit of a fallen hazard, but the Lord is so on our side right now. I figure there's no way anything could befall us in that sanctuary.
These boys have been through plenty of construction projects. They're professionals.
Well, follow me then. I'll come in and show you around. And she gestures to the front door, and she calls out like, "Excuse us, we're gonna bop inside for just a few minutes. Do be careful out here. No, you be gentle with those tiles now." And she takes you inside to go and tour around the church. Anything in specific you want to do in there while you're doing that? Otherwise, I'll skip to the back of the church. Yeah.
I have 2 goals.
Yeah.
3, I suppose. Keep Myrna distracted, both for the construction workers' benefit and for Cyrus's, and perhaps for my own. Goal number 2, I want to look around and see if I can determine where this gold might be buried, if it's in here anywhere, if there's anywhere that looks like suspiciously, a block out of place, or something that looks like it was touched like 20 years ago and then left. And number 3, I've got that doll.
Yeah, this is something you have in your personal quarters. This was given to you previous to us beginning this game on mic. That's part of our setup for the characters, adding things to each other's personal quarters. Describe what the doll is, and describe what you want to do with it.
Who was it that gave that to me? Was that Miah? No, it was you, Sero, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It is, I believe, a kind of fancy looking, like old porcelain doll, and it allows me to look through its eyes when I want to. So I want to, and I'm going to like say that I can like hear through it probably as well, or I can read lips, one or the other. And I want to find a place in the church that would be like where a lot of the ladies would get together and gossip, or like where the prayer requests would be, that sort of thing. And leave it there so that I basically have eyes and ears on some of the people in town who need help.
Then let me give you 2 options. You can pursue either one of these right now before we move on to the next scene, and we'll have that happening in the background, or You might have the option of doing the other one later as well, but either you can give me a day move to find a place to plant the doll, in which case I'll ask you what you're worried about and we'll go through the process from there, or I can give you an information move as you analyze the space to look for information or clues that you might find around the building.
Yeah.
Which do you want to do right now?
I think the looking around for the gold definitely takes precedence. So
Okay. Give me an information move then.
I'm at disadvantage.
And this
You've
will
got a
be
reroll.
You
an
have a
information
reroll.
move with reason, because you're just kind of looking.
Cool. So roll 3 dice, take the
Bottom 2.
Two
bottom
lows.
2. All right. That would be an 8. How do we feel about re-rolling?
That's a mixed success. Up to you.
It's until I fail, right? That I've got the disadvantage.
That's true.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do the re-roll. That was a better roll. That is 9 plus 1, so 10.
10. Nice. With a 10, you will get a conclude. No complications. So you look around there.
I rolled a 6, a 5, and a 4.
Tough to roll better than that on D6s. You investigate the space while you are distracting Myrna with questions about the old church. She's filling you in with all of the historical detail you could possibly have, and honestly, far more than you ever would want. Meanwhile, out back, in the graveyard, you find yourself actually fairly alone. They started working on the outside facade of the church first and some of the structural stuff inside. So they're actually not really back here at all. They've already cleared out the alleyway that's next to this little graveyard. So you find yourself fairly alone. Only a busybody like Myrna would have poked around when she saw you go back. And she's, of course, suitably distracted indoors. So you head to the grave that was mentioned to you. I think Felicity told you where she'd seen the black dog sitting. And maybe you even have the tools that had been uncovered there as well. So you have like a pick and a shovel and a little bit of lime in case you need it. What is your approach to this? Are you just going to dig in? Do you do any prayer or anything ahead of time? Just paint me a little bit of your scene here as you get to work.
Lord God, please let the gold be here, and this isn't me just desecrating a grave, because I feel like there's enough haunted stuff going on right now. I don't need to add that to my plate. So please, let the gold be here. And then he starts getting to work.
Give me a day move with vitality. Or I would also accept not focus, what's it called? Composure. Yeah, I would take composure too. You're trying to do this under the radar in this graveyard out back of this church.
I will do composure because I have a +1 to that.
Excellent.
Whereas the vitality has 0.
Well, first, before you roll, what are you worried is going to happen?
I'm worried that the gold isn't going to be there.
Okay. All right. Give us the roll.
I got 7 on the dice +1. That's 8.
That's 8. That's a mixed success. You do still have 1 reroll remaining.
Yeah, but I don't want to risk it being lower than that.
Okay. So on this case, there's a. Oh wait, this is a day move. So yeah, I'll tell you how your actions would leave you vulnerable, and you can choose to keep keep or go back with it. Yeah.
Or I can put on a mask.
Here's what I'll say. I'll describe it for you, what's going to happen, and then you can decide whether or not you want to mask this and go to a full success. Or rather, I'll describe the beginning of it. I think it'll be enough to let you know if you want to put on a mask or not. As you start digging, you see a shadow fall across the tombstone that you're working beneath. And it's a long, thin shadow with a bit of a rounded top and a flat bottom. And as you turn up, you see that it's being cast by the tallest 10-gallon, multi-gallon hat you have ever seen, atop the head of a extremely like chiseled square jaw, every bit of the body rippling with muscle, wearing a flannel shirt, suspenders, beautiful blue jeans, and a charming smile looking down behind you. As Pat, would you read for me real quick? Because I think we haven't actually introduced the move proper.
I would love to.
Read off for me, Haunted Dime Novelist, your
Haunted
playbook move.
Dime Novelist. Your family sent you to be educated at a prestigious New England university, and you have some success as a novelist who writes about the Western frontier. You have published Western adventure novels such as acclaimed Jesse James' Robin Hood of the West, but your best known work is a series of books on Texas Tom McCoy and his coyote companion Micah. It is one of the characters from these novels that start intruding in your dreams when you first arrived in El Paso, telling you that you were probably doomed. The lack of sleep must be affecting your waking hours because now you are seeing the character in El Paso during the day and it continues to chide you. You are actually being haunted by either the trickster spirit coyote or the anthropomorphized spirit of the West, Texas Tom McCoy. And I have chose Texas Tom McCoy. He appears to you have excuse me, he appears as you have always envisioned him. An exaggerated cowboy with everything larger than it should be. Massive handlebar mustache, very tall hat, belt buckle the size of a plate, etc. Texas Tom, excuse me, Texas Tom is a way the collective consciousness of Texas can push back on the wounded knight. He is able to appear wherever the Greenhorn is and can vanish by walking out of sight or when someone blinks. Others see and interact with him, but to them, he appears as a harmless old drifter who shows up randomly. Texas Tom can point out something that is obvious to him that can be used as a clue from the keeper as long as Texas Tom berates the Greenhorn for not noticing it.
Excellent.
If attacked, Texas Tom will act injured or will turn up later with a plausible excuse on how he avoided damage. The haunting ends when the wounded knight has been removed from El Paso.
Yeah, so standing behind you, peering over your shoulder, is none other than Texas Tom McCoy, figure made famous by your fiction, and made eerie by his appearance first in your dreams and then into your waking hours as well. You did see him briefly before the Echo yesterday, and now you see him here once again. He looms over you. Sometimes I'm frustrated by the camera position here because I want to be all gremlin mode.
So do that
about this character. It's tough to do. But
it's all right. I have to look up to my camera anyway, so
that's fair.
And one day you'll be as great as the camera is.
Tom looms over you.
I apologize for all the coughing, guys. I've been having some sinus issues all week, and
hydrate.
Yeah.
A request from your GM. Get that in you. But looming over you, tipping their hat, which tipping the tip of the hat is quite the gesture with this one because it makes the whole top of it, because of the length, swing radically, almost like a Looney Tune cartoon. It's like an elastic tube arm sensation to it. And he tips his hat and looks down at you. Howdy. Digging a hole?
You said he's behind me?
Yeah, he's like over your shoulder, leaning down.
I'm going to stand up slowly.
He's a good 1.5 feet taller than you.
I'm going to turn around slowly. And then I'm going to yell, I'm going to let out a, ah! And then dive behind the nearest gravestone.
Yeah, you shiver there for a moment. You see the shadows move very obviously because he's telegraphing himself very much in this early light of day. And he kind of like peers over the side of the gravestone at you.
You're not here. You're not here. I don't see this. You can't be here.
He like looks down, looks back up at you. I'm sure as I'm standing here, I'm standing here.
That's impossible. You're a work of fiction. I wrote you.
I'm a work of art.
You can't be here.
Well, technically, neither of us are probably allowed back here right now. But I'll tell you a little secret. He gestures over to the grave. Holes don't dig themselves.
Well, that's not very helpful. I was already digging the hole.
Is that what you're doing over here?
Until you so rudely interrupted, which still makes no sense. You can't be here. You're fiction.
I didn't interrupt nothing. I was just checking on my good friend. This town's pretty dangerous, don't you know? What with the wounded knight and all.
Yeah. I would very much like to wake up now. You know, this is probably just heat madness. It's so gosh darn hot out here. You know, it's one of the things that I miss about being back home east. It was much cooler there. Here, it's hot, it's sweaty, it's dusty, it's dirty. Look at my pants; they're covered in filth right now. I would very much like to wake up from this heat wave.
Getting your hands dirty is what you came out here for, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, he looks at you. He looks at the shovel. He looks at the grave. He like waves with his arm. There's more dirt to be had.
All right, I'll show you how to dig a hole properly, and then he'll go back and start shoveling at a faster pace than he was.
He like leans back on a smaller gravestone that like honestly should collapse under his weight, but it seems to stand there just fine. And he looks over at you. I'm never above learning a new technique. Show me what you got, Greenhorn.
I'll show you. I'll show Gertie making fun of me yesterday when I couldn't pull up a floorboard. I'll show you. I'll show her. I'll show this whole town what I'm capable of.
And you get to digging. It goes pretty quickly. The ground right now is fairly dry. Your shovel is sharp enough. There's a bit of rust on the pick from being kind of hit around there underground for a while, oxidized a little bit, but you make fairly quick work of the top layer of this soil, and the deeper you get, you finally chunk. Your shovel strikes something hard, a wooden case of some kind. And
did you hear that, Tom? And Cyrus is gonna look up out of the hole, and Tom is gonna be gone.
Yeah, Tom is gone, and sitting where Tom was is a large black dog.
Puppy!
I'd very much like Tom back, please. Who are you? Do you talk to? Hello?
I
dog
halfway
just-
expected David to be like, well, yes, actually.
Whoa, yes, no.
Shoo. What do you shoo?
You sort of shimmy from the grave. You just kind of wave your hands at it. It doesn't move at all. You get up to the edge and you start to climb out, and it bares its teeth and shakes its head no.
Cyrus is gonna pop his head back down real quick. Go, I don't see it. It's not here. It's not here. It's the heat. It's the heat getting to my head. Tom wasn't here. This dog isn't here.
Below you is a box covered in some dirt. It doesn't appear to be large enough to be a coffin unless it's a rather small one. Do you pop it open?
Yeah, because it beats leaving the grave right now.
Yeah. You crack open the side of it with your pick, and you pry open that lid. It actually comes up much easier than that floorboard did. And inside, even with the little light of day that's coming into the hole that you've successfully dug here, inside is glittering pieces of gold. A question to you all. This gold was taken from somewhere in Mexico. Let's make a decision real quick of what kind of gold this is. We proposed earlier, could have been taken from a consecrated site. It could just be bullion of some kind. It could have been taken from a mine. It could be anything. Dealer's choice. First great idea we're just going to take.
I don't know nothing about Mexican gold. One of the Americans, please.
I mean, the trope is cursed Aztec gold.
It is. It is a classic.
I mean, weird Aztec coins sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
Cool with that.
So then let's say you find not even a sack. They're just packed loose in this wooden crate. Yeah.
I had a dumb idea.
Yeah? I love dumb ideas.
It's got coin's two-sided. On the head side is like a very obvious like Aztec symbol, and then you flip it over and it says made in the Incan Empire.
Each one of them is the little that's the Mayan doomsday calendar, if I remember right. But
well, I'm somewhat familiar with Aztec symbology and their iconography, very sort of square symbols, decorations, patterns, representing various things. I think each of these coins is pressed with an image. I don't think they all match. I think maybe these coins themselves, were you to have the knowledge, could tell you a story of some kind. But I don't believe you do. But you'll gain a clue for this. I'm going to give you a clue because I want the gold itself to be a clue. I'll see if there's any. They don't have any specific clue that's already built for this. So I'm just going to give you the clue then. That is. Ooh, actually, that's a good one. I'm going to change my thing. Yeah, no, several of them are stamped with different things, but there's actually an especially large gold disc on top of the smaller discs. And on this is a depiction of a quail in an Aztec style. This is a symbol of Xipetotec, a god of agriculture and goldsmiths.
cool.
I'm going to throw that in the chat real quick. Depiction of a quail. Aztec style. Symbol of Xipetotec, god of agriculture and goldsmiths. And I'm going to take that clue.
Very cool.
But yeah, you have found the gold. When you close back up the box and kind of peek up over the edge of the grave, the black dog is no longer there.
Oh, thank goodness.
We pick up. You have found the gold. A few folks are distracted inside of the church. Let's go pick up next with Casey. Actually, we'll get to Sero. We'll get to Gertie after that. But Casey, are you riding on your horse and you have the other horse with you, or have you just taken Cletus's horse? Are you on?
I've taken and using Cletus's horse. I've taken and using Sweet Buns.
Hell yeah. Sweet Buns is such a sweetheart. She's a great horse. You head off towards the hills. You are approaching. Go to the location, see what I have for you. Yeah. So the location is called the Old Aztec Cave, just off a little used trail a few miles from town, currently serving as the campsite of the Skaggs Brothers gang. There are bedrolls and empty tin cans strewn about, cave paintings depicting animals, coyotes, birds, horses, and lizards. Looking around the scene, this is a paint scene for everybody. How do you know the Skaggs Brothers are hunting for gold?
There are lots of holes. I'm assuming they're pretty dumb.
Yeah, fair enough.
Where are we? Sorry.
We're at the hills.
Yeah, we're out in the hills.
Okay.
Casey is approaching the Skaggs Brothers gang's hideout. We're doing the paint the scene for it just ahead of that, so we can have the scene already laid out when we arrive.
Okay. Yeah. No, I was. Yeah.
I would say gold sieves, like the sieves to pan for gold.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then nowhere near water, right?
Not at all.
Because
they're
they're dumb.
taking raw clumps of dirt and just like
running them through.
Yeah. So lots of holes and gold pans and no water.
Panning for gold is hard.
Every once in every few minutes, there's a fire in the hole.
Ooh.
Love that. Pat, anything you want to add?
A lot of OSHA violations being broken.
What's she doing here again?
I hope to get to see the OSHA one
I thought
day.
I kicked her out. What's she doing here?
So,
a bunch of little lizards that look like bearded dragons with yellow spots on them.
Yep. The gold lizards, don't you know?
Don't you know? Casey, as you approach, the detritus and bedrolls and signs of their living here has spilled well outside of the front of this cave from the Skaggs Brothers operation. The horse actually, once you get close enough, like, you don't even have to use the map anymore that you were relying on that you got from Calhoun. The horse just starts leading the way back towards where it knows, it to have come from originally, right? And you make your way through a collection of increasingly scraggly trees as you approach the side of this particular hill, where there's a large natural cave spanning up. It's easily twice as tall as you are here at the mouth, and you can see directly inside. There are, in the light of day here, there's some very faded old paintings on the walls, as we described, with depictions of coyotes, birds, horses, lizards. And out front, there's a variety of tools and holes, as an operation to find gold here has been conducted well, not so much. And as you approach, I'm going to kind of give you the drop here because you are a skilled hunter of people. I think there's a couple members of the gang out front. They're tending to the fire. They've got sitting on top of it in a like large pot. They have just a bunch of dirt and rocks that they're trying to refine. This is not the way you do that, but they're trying. Let's see, who do I have from the Skaggs that I can throw out here? One of them, he's like 6'5", and like 400 pounds, just like a mountain of a fellow. He's not wearing a shirt. He's got like just tattoos, not really like in an organized fashion, just kind of sprinkled across his body, like somebody blessed him with water as a child, and he got tattoos and all the spots the droplets hit. And then another one is actually, I think like only a little bit shorter than him. You can tell by there's a family resemblance in the face, but it's a woman. We're gonna make these two twins because that's not part of the detail, but I like that idea that these two are twins. And they're both working over this fire together, trying to smelt this dirt and rock into gold somehow. And you have the drop of the situation. What do you do?
As you're describing this, I was like, oh yeah, fuck, what am I gonna do? I think I just wanna kind of like come up on this situation. Like, I will like just let Sweet Buns kind of walk forward lazily. I probably kind of just settled in my saddle, hands on the horn of my saddle, waiting for them to notice me.
They don't for some time. It's like an awkward amount of time for you to sit here, and they're just like not looking for you at all. They're playing around the pot, and you get their names from their bickering as they're doing this. The larger fellow is Jeb. The slightly shorter twin is Sue, and they're trying to smelt this. Like they've both gets a series of burns throughout this interaction.
Fraternal twins, or is this a boy named Sue?
They're identical twins, but
she just is
you can get identical twins where one is male and one is female. That happens.
Veeks and Vex from Critical Role.
Yeah. Yeah. So Jeb and Sue here are working out over the pot, cursing at each other as much as they are at you. They finally do notice you. Unless do you say something, or do you wait for them to actually see you?
I'll wait. I'm wondering. This is my monster of the week brain coming in. Is there anybody else like that has occupied the camp, or is it literally just like these two and Cletus? That's just the game.
Oh, the number of bedrolls out here is more than that.
Okay.
True to Calhoun's word, there's like at least 6 people probably who are bedding down out here.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. You know what? I think I'm gonna make a show of it. It's been like good couple of minutes, and
yeah, definitely
roll my eyes. I'm gonna take out my gun and just shoot it in the air.
Yeah, you fire a shot off, and Sue, who was like had a big stick, and they were like stabbing into the dirt and like trying to churn it around in the fire, while Jeb was holding the edge of the pot. Jeb like nearly throws the pot into the air. Sue stumbles backwards and drops the big stick, and both of them kind of turn empty-handed to see you standing there, and are like, "Hey, Jeb." Yeah, Sue. You ever seen them before? No, Sue. I never seen them before. I've never seen them before out here at all. Hey, stranger, you shouldn't be around. You should be around here.
Well, sorry to say there, partner, but I've been around here for a good 5-10 minutes.
Well, we got the claim. We got the claim on the gold out here. We got the deeds to prove it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Let me see.
Definitely.
Love to see him.
I ain't got him on my person. I could take you inside though.
I'm not that dull, partner.
She says she's not that dull, partner. Well, I heard what she said, Jeb. Well, you don't have to go on inside. We could go in and we could bring it out to you if that'd be more your speed.
I'll be honest with you. I'm not really here for the gold.
What are you here for?
Click, 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 click.
looking for a brother of y'all's named by Cletus.
She says she's looking for Cletus. I heard what she said, woman. Well, haven't seen Cletus now for, like, at the same time, it was like, a day, 3 days! Jap! He hasn't been around. Haven't seen him at all. No.
Mm-hmm.
You're not worried about your poor brother?
He knows how to take care of himself. Yeah, Cletus, he's gone to town.
Mm-hmm.
So you turn your horse around a few miles down the road.
I'm gonna like lean forward, like on my horse, and kind of look down. Looks like you're not having a lot of success in the gold hunting.
Well, we just haven't gotten the fire hot enough yet.
Didn't know that's how they make gold.
I read it in a book.
In a book?
Jeb, that is the stupidest lie you could have told. We all know you can't read. Sue!
You don't look that educated.
Don't embarrass
there.
me in front of the guest.
Oh,
Yo, I gotta say, holding up my arms like this is exhausting.
You can put them down.
Doesn't
put them
even
down.
It's
show
great
up
that you
the
don't have
audience,
to.
so don't do it.
We appreciate the visual, but it was entirely unnecessary.
Yeah, because
Cletus
the
is
audience couldn't
definitely
see it.
inside.
How many of there are you? I heard there's about a dozen.
Again, at the same time. 40! 50!
Guys,
All right.
Well,
you heard there was half a dozen.
There were 50, but we've scaled down the operation to a more robust 40.
Cox gun pulls out a second one, pointing at both of them.
Oh,
how many people are in there?
She's got 2 guns, Jeb. I can see how many guns she has, Sue.
And don't pull. Let me make me. These 2. How many people are in there?
Both of them. Well, this is a day move for sure. This is a day move with presence. What are you worried is going to happen if you fail or lose your nerve here?
That I'm going to be jumped from behind.
A noble concern. Give me this day move.
Okay. Eight.
Mixed success will be a complication.
What is she rolling with?
Presence. Rolling with presence, you'll see.
I guess it's too late to argue about one of these guns I'm using is Jesse James's gun.
You'd have to mark that ahead of time. Yeah, if you want to use it mechanically.
No worries.
But on a 7 to 9, the keeper will tell you how your actions would leave you vulnerable, and you can choose to go with it or back down and lay a crown out. Sorry, not crown, masks in this one. Use a crown. So as you're standing here, you've got the guns pointed at both of them. I think this is just a complication, not a hard miss. So what you fear exactly doesn't happen. However, as you're holding them both at gunpoint, you hear from inside of the cave, "Fire in the hole!" And then there's a thundering boom, and as the ground shakes, your horse, a very good girl, is spooked and rears up, throwing off your aim. And the moment your guns are no longer trained on them, running back into the cave, grabbing hold of the pot, grabbing hold of the big stick, they go back into the cave, Jeb and Sue, and they're no longer in your view by the time your horse settles.
Okay, I'm gonna jump off of the horse. I think I try to calm her. Probably doesn't work. I'm not her owner. So I think to add insult to injury, maybe she like runs.
Yeah, totally. The moment you get off her, like, she's been spooked, you try to calm her. Instead, she like rears up again and then charges off, and you give her some space.
She's like, nah, I'm out of here.
Yes. What the fuck do I want to do?
Oh, and I'm going to give you the condition. This is one that will be dispelled if you would be to leave this location. But for now, you have condition. How do I want to word this? Either like it's like the opposite of having the element of surprise. You've lost your element of surprise.
Exposed.
Last an initiative.
Let's call it Skags know you're here.
Because
That's definitely something that could be used against you while you're here. So
neat. Okay.
Did she happen to recognize the voice that yelled out fire in the hole?
I think it'd be tough to tell with the echoing and all.
Yeah, and I was trying to figure out would I like know or recognize any of Cletus's stuff, and I'm just no. I don't
Aside
think I
from
would.
Cletus, no.
Actually, I have a magic fucking compass.
You do.
Yeah, you do.
I forgot all about your magic compass.
Would I be able to use it to track Cletus?
Absolutely. You have already encountered him once, so it'd be easier than like you know exactly who you're looking for, so you can pitch that to your compass. I would even say in this case, like, it doesn't even require a day move, and you could just use it. Okay. You're not using it to gain advantage on anything, so it doesn't even get marked. This is just like a narrative thing.
Got it. Okay. I'm pretty much here on revenge.
Yeah. I mean, you're here to shoot him. That's what the compass is there to lead you towards. Leads you towards targets.
Yeah.
And Cletus is inside this hole.
Which hole?
The
cave hole?
The cave hole.
He's already buried himself.
Maybe that was Cletus firing in the hole.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna try and sneak towards this hole.
And I will say, once you are out of the light of day here, when you go inside, even if we pick up the scene while it is still technically daytime, it will be nighttime for you. It'll be considered a night move.
Because it's dark? Okay.
Because it's dark, because you are known, because the level of danger has changed.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Sero.
What? I just saying what was happening.
I
mean, typing what was happening.
I want to try and round up this whole gang.
Whole gang.
Round them up. Round the whole gang.
This is my scene, not yours.
Y'all are sick.
Right now.
Y'all are a bunch of sick degenerates, and I love it.
It's mostly Sero.
What do you do, Miah? What does Casey do? Do you go inside? Do you lose this opportunity for now? I will say, I probably would consider, if you go in to go and met violence upon this group right now, that would grant you, is it rage or
Wrath?
Wrath. That would grant you wrath, because I think that you could consider this like them running from you as an affront to your name.
Yeah.
And you're escalating the situation with violence.
Yep.
Yeah, and if I choose to avoid it, it would then be like, yeah.
Oh, and I have a complication for you. Oh, I almost forgot. Oh, perfect. I have a connected scene to this the moment we're done here.
As much as this goes against what I actually want to do, And being that it's like it's I've been in a lot of these situations. I've seen this play out poorly. I can't go in there one versus who knows how many, at least 3, with also explosives. I'm gonna try and make my way back to town. I guess on foot. Thus, I'm guessing that I would have to mark a point of fading glory.
Yeah, you do.
Okay.
Because you are choosing not to engage with wrath.
You want to read that rule off for the audience?
Yeah, I can read it again. So I have a move called That Double Name. Whenever another character challenges your name by insulting, belittling, or assaulting you in front of witnesses, I have a choice. It applies to each action of this kind in a scene. If I respond by escalating the situation, I can check a point of wrath and can be used to get advantage on any roll involving violence or intimidation. I guess I could have used that before. Oh well. If I'll skip because it doesn't apply to the situation right now. If I choose to avoid or de-escalate the situation, check a point of fading glory. When that tracker is full, the keeper may send a side character to assassinate me. Immediately clear the tracker. This happens every time the tracker fills, so multiple assassins can be in play at could be in play at any one time. So
yeah. You begin to walk away from this altercation. You choose not to go in there to met violence alone. And as you turn to walk away and start heading away on foot, our camera pulls out slowly as we see you tromping through the there's not really much of a woods here. There's just kind of a sprinkle of trees here on the hillside. As you head on the fairly long walk back towards town, maybe you'll find the horse along the way. But as our camera pulls out, we see on a hillside, maybe a couple miles from you, peering through the eye of a spyglass, long bronze and wood. They click it back together and slide it into a pocket. This figure is perched atop a mule. They are wearing armor not really seen around these parts. It's made of layers of reed and wood. This is the technical term is an oyuroi. It's like a classic Japanese armor. Think if you've seen The Last Samurai, that sort of armor. Sitting up on this horse, staring through the spyglass. They tuck away the spyglass in a pouch they have slung across their chest. They lay a hand on the hilt of their katana next to them. They and click their heels, and the mule that they're riding atop slowly makes its way down the hill in pursuit of Casey James.
Neat.
Go for the
Normally you have to wait till your tracker is full to get to send an assassin after you, but because Dixon paid good money to introduce a complication, we will get one sooner than that. And I established beforehand, for me, this was not something I said to any of the players, that all of my assassins were going to be weird possibilities that you could have out west, but are not what you would traditionally think of.
I'm about to say that is not what you think of when you think of Old West, but I'm here for it.
No, I love it.
The era of samurai overlaps with this period of history. It is a true fact.
You get pirates and cowboys and samurai.
Yep, all together at once.
True facts about the Old West.
So, exit pursued by samurai. We'll pick up with Casey later. Let's pick up across back in town. We're on Santa Fe Street. This is a nouveau riche sort of part of town. There's old and new money mixing together, whatever old money there really was in El Paso. There's mostly new money coming in from the railroad and other sources here. And people are starting to build up. There's a burgeoning middle class. And at one of these, well, before we get into the building, I think I have a paint the scene question for this part of the street. Yeah, various private homes on Santa Fe Street. The homes on Santa Fe Street reflect the new money tastes of their owners. I've got some homeowner names for them. I'll actually have you pick, Sero, for which one you want to go and speak with. I have Declan O'Brien, Mercedes Pastor, and Joseph Davies are all
The first
our
one.
options. Declan O'Brien, perfect. Our paint the scene question then. Looking around, how do we know the homeowner is a member of El Paso's nouveau riche? Like what's the look of this house or place that makes you go, you haven't had money for very long, have you?
Oh, it's candy striped.
Oh yeah. Woof.
Guys, Dixon just tipped another $30.
I was
God.
waiting for that because he said, "You know what? A complication for each of us."
Oh God. Next session's gonna be wild. Because I don't. At this point, we're late enough. There's no way we can fit all those into this one. But
Sarah, you might need to book us for longer.
Well, the thing is, it'll have to be in November because I'm going on holiday.
It's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can always do it if we have to, though.
I'm down.
We can always do a part 2 later. Too, if because you know Dixon wants
part 2, but
I mean, you know what I meant.
Yeah.
El Paso 2 Electric Boogaloo.
It would have to be Saturday the 16th of November, which would be Sunday the 17th of November for the Kiwis.
We'll
I got the Great Monster
offline.
wake off. Yeah. Before that.
For now, what I need from everybody. We have some candy stripes in this building. Tell me more details. How do we know the homeowner? How do we know Declan O'Brien is part of El Paso's nouveau riche?
There are Corinthian columns outside the house.
Is it possible for him to have electricity?
Technically, yes, depending on the time, because electricity would have existed for a while now. It's electric lights itself that haven't existed
hear me out.
For a while.
He's got a couple of porch lights that are not gas ones, but they can only be operated by somebody who's got a pump that's spinning a wheel to generate the electricity. There's no generator in town.
It could be a water wheel that they're powered by.
We're in the middle of town. Water's on the edge of town.
I guess so. Yeah. Okay, fine.
I mean, I was actually gonna say, I think that to show off ridiculous amounts of wealth, he actually has a landscaped garden and a fountain.
Oh, geez. Yeah. Okay. So, landscape garden, fountain. There are some electric lights. We can decide.
Corinthian columns.
Oof. That's some Willy Wonka shit right there.
Don't be jealous because you didn't come up with it, David. That's some bull that you would put into a game, and don't act like it isn't.
Well, I mean, of course you're right. Patrick, I threw a samurai into this Western. Of course I'm into the candy-striped Corinthian columns.
Yeah, but David, we also both know you did that for me. So
not fair. I did that for Dixon. Dixon paid for it.
Dixon suggests that he's somehow got pink lawn flamingos, even though they shouldn't exist for another 100 years.
They're just real flamingos.
Check, Christopher.
Real flamingos?
By the way,
where are they? In the fountain?
Yeah.
It was...
Go ahead.
It was Nano Explorer that came in and said candy-striped Corinthian columns.
Oh, hey, Christopher's here. No, there are just flamingos. Sorry, Dixon has unleashed the thought of flamingos in El Paso to me, and that's too juicy to let go. They are actual flamingos that are here in the garden. How these are being kept or maintained, who knows? But if these flamingos leave this lawn, they will return.
Can we have a couple of peacocks too, just for the fun of it?
No, we're getting too busy. The flamingo, either peacocks or flamingos. I vote flamingos because they are a garden thing, which is a funny bit. We can't just give this person every exotic bird.
Why not?
Why not?
Because
the nouveau rich.
Look, we're still El Paso, right? We're on the edge of the train line right now. City of 2000. It's tough to get crazy birds out here. But there are a couple of
Fine.
flamingos. You walk up. Casey, not Casey. Casey's dealing with
Gertie.
something else right now. Gertie.
Gertie.
Yeah,
Different sounds.
Gertie. You approach the front, sitting on the porch in a oversized gilt rocking chair, with a tea set to rival Cyrus's set on a table next to him. Only instead of silver, it's gold. Or it looks golden. Who's to say? But he's pouring a cup of tea, and as you approach, Declan O'Brien, who we're just gonna insert some quick backstory for Declan. Declan O'Brien has been an El Paso resident for several years. He was always like a landowner and owned a good swath of land outside of town. How Declan made his money is, it turns out a lot of that money, a lot of that land was in very convenient positioning for the railroad. And so he sold that off to the railroad, and has some persistent contract that gives him a certain fee over time for access to some of that stuff. And so Declan O'Brien went overnight from El Paso wealthy, which was to say not that wealthy in the grand scheme of the West, to nouveau riche. And with that came the rail line. And as he's been about a little bit this year, he's gotten pretty high on his britches, and with a affected accent and an air of confidence that previously would have been beyond him, Declan calls out to you from his porch, "Welcome."
What?
All right. Important first thing to establish, though.
Yes.
Gertie, smash or pass?
I was just trying to ask how old he was.
Declan is probably maybe 5 years younger than you, 5 or 6. He's almost your age.
Oh, okay. Well, in response to him, should be like, what?
Gertie, you have come again to help me with my...
What? Speak properly, Declan. I can't understand a word you're saying.
Come on. I was just having a conversation with some real nice folks outside of town. They told me I was doing pretty good.
What were you trying to do?
I met this Frenchman from out of town. He was a real nice sort. We shared a couple of drinks. He was teaching me his language.
Uh-huh. Is that all he was teaching you, Declan?
We don't need to get into the particulars, Gertie. I heard you got a new side piece, too. Well, a main piece, I suppose.
Oh, you mean the boy, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see how long this one lasts.
They're getting younger, Gertie.
Boy.
And?
Look, no
That
judgment
means-
from me, provided you're not passing any my way.
I mean, well, once I've finished, maybe you could.
What happens in San Antonio for me stays in San Antonio. What happens on your little ranch stays on your little ranch, as far as I'm concerned. But you here for business, right?
Yeah, that safe I made you, I heard it got broken into.
It did. Now, thankfully, no distrust your way, but when I hear that somebody's been tracking through walls, I had some suspicions of my own of its efficacy, so I put a few things inside of there that I wasn't quite as concerned about, and they did disappear, and a daisy was left in their stead. Quite a slick maneuver, I might say.
Mm-hmm.
I planted the daisy out front. You can see it there now. It's doing pretty well for itself.
He
planted
a cut daisy?
Was it cut or did it have a root still? But
I think it was just kind of plucked from the earth. There's still a little bit of roots. I wouldn't plant a cut daisy in my lawn.
yeah, well, you were speaking gibberish just before. I don't know what's up with you these days.
One of the
Declan.
flamingos pecks at your foot. I
Yeah,
wouldn't put
fuck off.
anything strange in my
Yeah.
lawn.
Just Call your
Sorry,
bird off, Declan.
they're just hungry. I've got a somewhere over
Feed
here, and he
them.
like grabs a bucket and he just like chucks some stuff onto the lawn, and the flamingos "Oh!" and they like go over and like start pecking at it.
I mean, it has to be shrimp that he throws on the lawn, right?
You'd hope.
If he's feeding them well, I don't know.
And grits.
Shrimp and grits.
Shrimp and grits.
There it is. But yeah, he waves a hand for you up onto the porch. Says, "If you stay off the grass, they don't mess with you too badly. You wanna come on in, check it out safe?"
Yeah. I wanna see what it was. And what'd they take?
Oh yeah, just whatever I packed in there. I had a handful of like some freshwater pearls. I had a ornate little box I got from the Orient. A couple of gifts from my French pal. I told him about it, and he gave me something even nicer. But that's up on my mantle now. But
Why are you even talking about the gift if it's on the mantle? It wasn't and something they
well,
took.
they took the old one.
I
I was talking to them about it, and then
the Frenchman took the old one, or the Daisy
no,
Man
the
took
Daisy
the old
Man
one?
took my gift. Just come and check out the safe, would you?
You're making no sense. This is why we didn't last very long.
He leads you
You're only
back
good for one
to
thing.
there was essentially a whole room that you retrofitted. It's off of like the
Uh.
main parlor. It was like a small, maybe even like a servant's entrance of some kind, but you like closed off that door. You put up some like lead sheeting. You installed like bolts into the frame. It was a whole retrofit. It was expensive retrofit that he paid for. And yet still, when he opens the door inside, you see that there was a table where he was keeping the belongings he put out there, and it is all empty. And there is like it was left there long enough, and this is El Paso, so there's a little bit of the dust on it. And there's like the shape where there is no dust that is in the shape of a daisy that he had taken off of the table and is now planted out front.
And that's the
do you do
only
here?
signs of disturbance.
Well,
Probably
that's
his
my question to
footsteps.
you. Do you
Okay.
ask more questions and investigate that way, or do
Yeah.
you look around? What do you do? What's your angle of
I'm
approach?
going to
as
look
you try to
around
get some clues?
because Gertie don't think he's that bright.
Yeah,
So
give me a reason roll, information move.
Daisy. So let's climb flamingos. Oh, 10 plus reason, 12.
12. Whoa, wait, that's a 12 on an information move? Oh, great. That gives you both a clue and a mastermind clue. Love
Ooh.
that for us.
We're racking them up.
We need more. We just used them up, the masterminds.
Yeah.
That's true.
Let's see. What do you want clue-wise? What would be fun? Okay. In addition to the trace amounts of dust that you saw settled in the room, you notice a slight discoloration on the floors. You look along them, and in a direction that isn't even towards the sort of vault door to this space, just into the wall itself, you see a trail of salt crystals.
Ooh.
And it leads from, just under the table in the middle of the room, all the way to the wall.
Okay. I'll go and have a look at that, stomp on the floorboards, see if they, sound like the metal sheeting's still under there. Then go investigate the wall and tap on that.
Yeah, everything seems powerful, sturdy, just the way you left it. No signs of entry beyond this trickle of salt.
I'll pull out my on-the-go briefcase lab.
Yeah, are you gonna test anything, or what are you doing?
Yeah, extend that out, test the salt, have a look to see if there's any invisible shadow on the wall or something like that to see if it did go through there.
If you're gonna use your kit, I think that'll be another information move with reason. I like the idea of this.
get
I thought I
advantage.
should use something
you gain advantage on it because you're marking your kit.
Yay! So 3 dice.
Yes, 3 dice. Take the higher 2.
Okay, not as good. But it's a 10.
10 is good.
That's good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The lowest one was a 1. Go away, dice. Go away, 1.
Okay. let's come back to the clue you're going to get there.
Okay. And I also wanted to say that I'd go outside to see if there was
Mhm.
any more salt on the other side of the wall. Just looks like if it was a trail, if it went through and
Yes,
keep
it
going.
definitely,
Yeah.
like, the trail of salt seems to pass through the wall. There's like a trail in and then a trail on the other side for sure. And that's all part of that same clue.
Okay.
But yeah, you start sampling the salt. You're wandering around the house, inspecting the edges of the room. We'll give you another clue here in a second. You also get a mastermind clue, and
Ooh.
the one that I want to give you all, I'm going to give you as a group, but I'm not going to give you directly, Gertie, because we're already in such good position to get it somewhere else. I'm going to pick up
Mhm.
quickly, and then we'll move inside the church after that. But first, I want to pick back up with our boy Cyrus. After getting this box squared away, and you peek over and you see that the dog isn't there. I'm assuming you climb out of the hole you dug for yourself.
Yeah.
As you climb out, you come face to face, like at the edge of the graveyard, fairly new actually, as if it was dropped off there earlier today, maybe as part of the shipment for the goods to rebuild the structure, or so you originally assumed. But now you realize, as you're climbing out of this hole right next to it, that it's a pile of like fresh tombstones, like for graves that haven't been dug yet, or maybe to replace ones out here. And
This
you
is the
realize,
mastermind clue?
just the mastermind clue, as you're climbing out, that the one staring you in the face has your name on it, Cyrus Danforth.
Can I move them around and see if my fellow
Behind
committee
the one that
members?
says Cyrus Danforth is one that says Casey James. Behind that is Gertrude Goddard. Behind that is Felicity Faust. Beyond that is, slowly, as you're, several of the names you don't recognize, but there's not enough here for like everybody in El Paso, because that would be like hundreds and hundreds. But like you see some familiar names of other people you know around El Paso that are also in here. It seems like the clue here is gravestone plannings for the residents of El Paso. For people who, as far as you're aware, are not dead.
That's fun.
Just spooky.
I apologize for any weird noises over here. There's a lot of construction happening.
Can't hear it, don't worry.
Okay.
I can hear it in the distance, but that's because I am in the same building.
As long as it's not coming through on mic.
Yep, you're good. So Cyrus, you find those series of gravestones. We follow the camera inside to where you have been inspecting the building. I owe you a clue as well, do I not?
You owe me a clue and a mastermind clue as well, if I remember correctly.
Did you get a 12? I thought you had Hey, chat. help
Might
keep
have
me
just been
honest
a 10.
here. I think it was a success. I think it was a full success. I think it was a 10.
I think it was a 10. You're right.
I don't remember owning you a mastermind. Okay, cool.
No,
That
it was
sounds right.
because I've got the dice here still. It was a 5, a 4, and a 1 on the. No, it was a 5.
Okay.
No, it was a 6, a 5, and a 4. Right.
Right,
That's what I
but
said?
you
had a
had
+1.
disadvantage, so
Yep.
you rolled a 5 and a 4 plus 1,
Four.
You got a
so
+1.
10.
Yep.
+1.
Okay.
Thank
Yep,
you,
Dixon
Dixon.
also says it's a 10. Yes, so I owe you a clue. Let me ask you. I can give you a clue from either mystery here. Which would you rather?
Daisy Man.
Okay. Yeah. As you're going through the church, you hear behind you in the doorway, like you're often the main congregation space. Some of the windows have already been pulled off delicately to keep what stained glass was still in place. You hear the door creak for the foyer, and you don't think about it much at first because there's been all these boots tromping around outside. But as you're showing things to, or as Myrna is showing you, she's like talking about, the history of this one particular stained glass piece, who worked on it 30 years ago to repair it after a bird crashed through the top part of it and had to redo all of Mother Mary's head. And she's like, they were a wonderful artist. They really did a remarkable job with her hair, and that eyebrow work was incredible. And meanwhile, behind you, somebody walks inside. Their face is obscured. They've got like a big wide-brimmed hat with a little bit of netting on the sides. And they walk up to the offertory box, still set up there by the front of the congregation space. And they set down a single daisy on the offering box.
Take a rub.
Do I see who that is?
You cannot see their face from here. But you do see them do the action as they drop off this box. What do you do? Or drop off the daisy on the box, rather.
But I see who puts down the daisy on the box?
I mean, you saw a man come in and set a daisy down on the box. Yes.
Am I able to track said man?
That's up to you. That would require you following them as they go to leave, because they're going to go to leave. Or you could try to confront them. You can follow them as they go to leave. You could try to confront them. This is a clue with a little bit of an opportunity.
I'm going to say some pleasantries to Myrna and then excuse myself and then follow them.
Okay. You give me then, this will be a day move. What are you worried is going to happen?
I'm worried I'll lose track of them.
Yeah, go for it. This is going to be with, what's it called?
Presence, vitality, composure.
Composure, yes, that's the one.
Composure? Okay.
Yep.
I believe that's a +0 for me. Your screen turns off too quickly.
I can tell you. Yeah, that's composure's 0.
Wow. No, okay, yeah. Yeah, that's a 5.
Hey, you finally get your miss.
Uh-huh. I'm gonna let that one ride.
You try to extricate yourself from Myrna. You do that successfully. You say oh, you have urgent business. And she's like, oh, my apologies for keeping you. I hope you understand now the beauties of the space and how restoring it to its former glory will bring grace to God and glory to God and grace to the people.
Also, I have a gift for you, and I hand her the doll.
Thank you.
This is a comfort item. You should put it somewhere where people might need comforting.
Oh, well, that's, bless your heart. What a beautiful gift to the people of El Paso, most in need of comfort in these trying times.
Happy to help.
Yeah, as you do that, not the daisy man, but the man who did drop off this daisy, is headed back towards the door. You kind of rush to follow after them. They round the door to the outside, and you kind of follow after. You poke your head out. You see that as soon as you've left through the front, they're now around the corner into the alley. They've you kind of lose the back of them behind somebody carrying along one of those big posts. You have to kind of worm your way around. You make your way into the alley, and you don't see any sign of them at first. As you step gently down, kind of keeping your eyes peeled, looking for any sign that they might have left behind, you take a step forward, and you hear a faint click as you step on something that wasn't there on the floor of the alleyway previously. And when you step and you hear that click, you feel the ground shift under your feet as this bit of the boardwalk that wraps around this stretch of the building, it breaks away on either side as if a lever or something has been thrown and it has shifted. You fall down underneath into the tunnel that is underneath this building. You are coated head to toe in crude oil as you have
Great.
joined the
Can
path
I
that others had walked previously.
can I make a vitality check and try and grab her arm as she's falling as I'm coming around the church corner from the cemetery?
You could make a vitality roll to maybe help her out. But you can't.
This is my
this is a
condition
move.
for.
This was a miss. I get to make a move.
Oh.
And what shows this not as some accident or some faulty bit of the boardwalk here, what shows this to be clear and intentional is as you fall down into the muck, sitting directly in front of your face as you look up is a daisy planted there in the oil. You've fallen into one of the traps of the daisy man.
I thought he was going to say a black dog again.
No.
Me too.
If you make the decision that the daisy man is a person, then he gets to like leave traps and shit for you. So
I'm gonna take that daisy and tuck it behind my very oily hair.
yeah, you currently have the condition crude oil.
Yeah, I'm so
Oil
coated in
slick.
crude oil.
Yeah. Cyrus, you're there at the top of the boardwalk.
Felicity, you okay?
She's just gonna like stick her arm out.
I'll roll that vitality check if you want, David.
Yeah, this vitality check is going to be at disadvantage.
That's rude.
Not because
That's
of your
rude.
condition, but because of her condition. She's covered in crude oil.
Yeah.
I have one more reroll. I'll remind you as I go into this roll. Well, at disadvantage, that's a 4.
Okay.
Love that. You want to give that reroll, or you want to take the miss, or you can always mark
You
crowns
know-
or
You
masks.
know
Math.
what happens if you take the miss. You know it means you're gonna get covered in crude oil too.
I really don't feel like getting covered in crude oil 2 days in a row. I'll do the reroll. I'll spin my last reroll.
Do it. Give me those snake eyes.
That's rude.
I want to miss here so bad.
Me too.
Yeah.
That's 7.
That's 7. All right. So
That's
here's
a
what I'll tell
mix.
you on a mixed success. Before I give you what happens on a mixed success, you will also go down in the hole with Felicity, but so will the box of gold.
You're not separated.
That's why
good.
it's not a full mess. So it will also tumble down with you, but it will also then get mired in all the stuff down here. That's what's going to happen here on the mixed success. You're going to gain the same condition that she currently has. If you're happy with that, then take it. Otherwise, feel free to mark a mask.
Man, you really want me to mark a mask, don't you?
I mean, it's good for everyone.
There is still a mask associated with this
gold
mystery that we could.
There's
mark,
actually
right?
2 available right now. You have the Mask of Gold, which is for the hunt for the Rebel Gold, and you also now have available to you from the Daisy Man the Mask of the Cat.
Oh.
Can I get a description of what I would have to narrate based on both of those so I can make a decision?
The Mask of Gold is each hunter will have to narrate a dream about gold they've been having ever since the Memphis wreckage washed ashore, and describe how does the gold in the dream help you fulfill all your hopes and dreams. And for the Mask of the Cat, each hunter will have to narrate a time when they secretly entered a building at night for a purpose they hoped would never be revealed.
Well, those both make everyone narrate, which is fun and rude to do to you 3.
Almost always the threat-specific masks are one person gets to use, but everybody has to answer. That's just how they work.
Interesting.
I mean, you're just going to get covered in crude oil. You stay with Felicity, you'd stay with the gold. Seems fine. You just need to wash off.
I am deciding what mask to put on. I think I've decided that I'm going to put a mask on. It's just a matter of which one now.
Let's get it. Or we can, if you choose the mask now, we can have you narrate your scene later. And so I can break from the scene for a second, and we can go pick up with somebody else while we're waiting.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. I will say when you mark a mask, that will make a clean success here. You grab hold of Felicity's hand, and although she is still thoroughly covered in this crude, step by gentle step along the wall of this, you do hoist her out of there. Your hands get a little bit coated, but it's nothing you can't wipe off with the handkerchief you brought with you. And the two of you are now safely above ground. The box full of the gold is still sitting next to you for now. And the two of you are reunited here. Let me pick up. But you, in pursuit of the Daisy Man, you have totally lost track of whoever that was, whether that was the Daisy Man or some other agent thereof. They are long gone now.
Pat, you now have add 1 to a roll also.
Oh, now.
I am going to pick up for a short delivery of the clue with Gertie, and then I want to pick up with KC on the walk back to town. But first off, a clue. You sample the salts, and you use your equipment to analyze it. This is not a clue, but like there does definitely seem to be some residue of this salt that is more spectral in nature. You think you can directly tie the abilities that you've seen manifest here to something ghost related. Especially since your research relates directly to that, you can tell that like that kind of stuff is definitely going on here. This just ain't normal salt, or it's been exposed to something otherworldly. The clue that you get is while you're following the path of the salt, you notice that after passing through the wall to the table, following it in reverse back through the wall back into the house, you find an unusually light shoe print in the dust. You know that this can't be from what's his name, O'Brien.
Declan.
Yeah, you know that it can't be from Declan, because Declan wears these like long, gaudy, like hyper-toed cowboy boots that have all sorts of ornate stuff on the side. This is not his boot print. This is a simple, rounded, a bit smaller, and very light in the dust footprint. It almost doesn't wipe it away completely. And it's there just at the edge of that salt line as it extends into the house. There is this unusually light shoe print in the dust.
Okay.
That's the clue that you get.
Light as in I would surmise that they were lightweight, they didn't put their whole weight down, or
I would say any conclusion you draw from that is the purview of answering a question. Some potential reasons could be they are smaller, perhaps, than a grown man. They could be like partially incorporeal, and so they didn't leave as much of a footprint. There's lots of reasons you could extend.
Gotcha.
Tough to say.
So,
all you have is the clue.
So the last 2 clues we've gotten have been the daisy and the trap. And
well, you didn't get a clue because you had a miss. You got trapped.
I did get a clue. I did get a clue because before that I rolled for a 10 and had a success.
Oh, you're right.
That was
have
the
no,
salt
oh,
trail, wasn't it?
You're right. You wanted the previous clue. No, the clue you got was a man
Put a daisy
put a daisy on like donated a daisy to the church.
Okay. And then what we just got was light
A light
footsteps.
footprint.
At the end of the salt trail.
A strange visitor offers the gift of a single daisy. That's the clue you received. We have a trail of salt seems to pass through a wall. And then we have an unusually light shoe print in the dust. That's what we have for the daisy man.
And trail of salt crystals through a wall.
Yeah, that was the second one. A trail of salt seems to pass through the wall.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And so for all of you, the sun is starting to get low on the horizon, although it feels perhaps the lowest for Casey as you are making your slow walk back to El Paso. You did not run across the horse, unfortunately, out here in the wilderness. You are, however, approaching. You've got like a few firelights and gas lights that have been lit here as the sun is starting to dip. You're not quite to dusk, but here among the edges of the hills, things are still certainly long shadows cast along the ground. And you hear behind you a crunch of the brush. You, of course, are a trained hunter, trained killer. You hear that noise and immediately go on alert. You spin around to see, riding on muleback, a man dressed real funny. I don't know how familiar you are with the Far East from here, but he looks he looks like he's wearing a costume by your perspective. He looks up at you. He's wearing a wide-brimmed straw hat, not too unlike those you've seen worn by some of the railroad workers who you know hail from Eastern Asia. And as he locks eyes with you, he slides side saddle off of his mule. You don't see a gun on him, but he does have some kind of saber at his hip. What do you say or do?
Howdy. Kind of like tip my hat.
He tips his hat.
Dress like you're not around these parts.
He tips his hat again.
Can I help you, friend?
He reaches in. He's got this pouch slung across his chest. He reaches down into it, and he pulls out a picture you can see of your face on a poster. He drops that and kind of like lets it flutter in the breeze towards you, to your feet.
It's funny, I get mixed up with that person a lot.
He shakes his head from side to side, and he shakes that bag on his chest, and you can hear the coins jiggle.
Well, I sure don't know why you'd be out hunting something little like me.
There's no dollar sign like listed on that poster or anything. It's mostly just like a representation of your face. He reaches into that pouch, and one by one, you see him drop onto the dirt in front of him a collection of coins. Honestly, you would think too large for you. Like, I don't know where you would put a bounty on you if you, because like you've mostly been on the correct side of the law, air quotes, whatever the correct is. But you've been on the side of the law that doesn't usually get the bounties put on you by the government. But were you to put a dollar sign on yourself, this is maybe 50% higher than you would expect for that. And he seems to have been paid it up front.
Can you double it?
I mean, maybe, but I think
I
there's
mean,
other
this is a
avenues
larger
I could
sum
try.
than you would certainly have on you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'd have to be like, hey, you want to go to a bank?
I know
and
one opening up soon.
After he's
Yeah.
finished laying this money out in the dirt in front of him, he takes his hand down and it hovers just above the edge of his katana. He's maybe 10 feet from you.
Yeah, and you said he was like a foot taller than me. He's like 6 something.
We didn't get a height on him. That was more.
Oh, maybe
Deb
that
and-
was.
or Sue and Jeb.
Yeah.
Jeb and Sue,
Jeb.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Yeah.
realistically, how tall are you?
Um,
I'm gonna say he's probably
Let's see.
average height for a Japanese person, so he's like maybe 5'9", 5'8".
let's see. How tall is 157 centimeters?
Shorter than me. So less than 5'5".
I kind of
Maybe
just googled
5'4",
how tall
5'3".
the average height of a woman in the 1880s.
Yeah, that's like 5'2", 3.
Okay. Yeah, I think she's just over 5 feet.
Yeah, so he's like a little bit taller than you, but not by much.
Oh, okay.
I think you got to shoot this man in the face.
Hmm.
And
Or the
body,
hand.
if you can manage it.
Or the hand.
Or the hand. or all of the above.
Yeah.
Maybe the shoulder. Maybe the foot. Maybe both feet.
Well, if you shoot him in the head, he can't grab his katana, right?
Unless
Yep.
he's ambidextrous.
Could be. So, head, heart.
Okay,
Take the money.
peanut gallery. I don't know what you're thinking you're gonna do with that sword when I've got a gun. I don't know if you've heard the saying, don't bring a knife to a gunfight.
He didn't. You brought a sword.
You've stood in front of a lot of would-be assassins in your time. A lot of people who would level their gun or their knife or whatever at you. And the eyes that he looks at you with are just as weathered and resolved as your own. You know, without having seen him do it, that many people have died to this blade. And he expects you to be the next one.
Neat.
The air has grown still. The dust is no longer being kicked up by his mule, who waits casually behind. You're too far from town to call help, and you're being stared down by this samurai assassin.
Where's this, I guess, paper bounty?
That's the thing. It's like just a picture. Well, it got kind of like nestled in the dirt in front of you.
Yeah.
It blew over in a light breeze, but the air's gone still now, so it's still your face is still staring up at you from the ground.
But it's just my face. Nothing
it's
else.
just a picture of your face. Yep. Picture of you drawn on paper. Somebody paid this money to him exclusively to do this job.
I think we're making assumptions. James sent you?
He cocks his head to the side. And then slowly shakes his head no.
Shoot him. Shoot him.
Beat this man.
Well,
That's
you find me
confusing, because who
alone.
else would want that much for you?
The devil, Felicity. Why
Why would the devil need to send you a bounty hunter after you? He's already got me.
Cletus is getting revenge.
It was
for shooting him in the
Dixon.
foot. It was Dixon.
mhm. Well, it looks like you got me caught with. What is the phrase? What phrase would they say?
Caught flat-footed.
Yeah. Well, partner, looks like you caught me flat-footed. But you know what the KC stands for?
Dead to rights.
He does not look to you like he knows what the KC stands for.
He's not a cowboy, though.
Well, hell, I think I'm just gonna shoot him.
Yay!
I'm gonna shoot him with my father's gun.
All right.
Good call.
So this is going to be a night move.
Aw.
This is, what are you worried is going to happen here? What are you concerned is going to happen if you fail or lose your nerve?
I die.
We're in the night phase now?
For her, yeah.
I mean, no, but the stakes are certainly night phase stakes right now.
Casey is in the night phase.
Yeah, KC isn't. The shadows have grown long over here in the hills. It's night phase for KC.
I'm afraid I'm gonna die.
Afraid you're gonna die.
At the hand of a sword.
You've got to reroll,
I
right?
think,
And a
I
mask?
think how
One.
it's worse than that. I think he is going to like embarrass you. I think you are going to shoot at him. He is going to cut your bolt in half in classic samurai trope, and then he is going to cut you in half. And it ain't going to be pretty.
Yeah, and I think that this is also going to use a wrath point because I'm responding.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yep.
Because
Do
there
you
definitely
still
is a
have a
world where
reroll
you
just in
instead
case?
night move, like lay down your gun and try to walk away. But that ain't what happening here. We're going for the.
I tried. Okay. So I roll with advantage.
Let me check.
This. Yeah,
Yeah.
I roll
I
with
mean,
advantage.
you roll with advantage twice technically, but I don't think advantage stacks. So
Marking the. Oh yeah, no, you're marking gives you advantage. Well, I got bad news about part of that. I am going to
Okay.
invoke your lacerated arm with shrapnel,
Yep.
which would give you disadvantage. So that will negate one of those.
Okay.
So then you're welcome to use your wrath to get advantage. On top of that, though.
Cool. That sounds good. Dice. So I'm rolling 3 dice.
Yep, take the higher 2.
And I'm adding what to it? Anything? Nothing.
This is definitely composure.
And
Okay,
plus
cool.
1
And
from
then-
Dixon.
Yep.
Thanks, Dixon. Okay. There's a lot of.
Also, you do have a reroll still, I think.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Cool. Okay.
That doesn't sound good.
Oh no, it's great. Load up to her namesake. 15.
Gah.
Jeez.
What? I'm sorry?
Bullet in the
I
center of the forehead.
I rolled double 6s.
Oh, we rolled boxcars plus 2 from your
2.
composure, plus 1. Yeah, 15.
I don't know that I've ever seen a 15 roll in a.
Well, before I frame this up for you, quick question: are you shooting to kill?
Yeah, I'll have
Okay.
to because I mean he's
Yeah.
using a sword to kill.
Then I'll frame this up for you. The air is still. We already described. No dust kicking up. The mule is sort of pacing there happily. Seems fine. This seems to be a normal interaction for it. The lights flicker in the distance from the town of El Paso, so tantalizingly close, but this wall in your way. What he wears is foreign to you. The blade he begins to draw as the two of you stand here is also foreign to you. What isn't foreign to you is the sensation, the adrenaline that kicks in your body. You see his hand drift for his sword as his fingers grip around it and begin to pull it from its sheath in a practiced motion that is just as remarkable as any gun draw you've ever seen. It's just not fast enough. That adrenaline courses through your body and time comes not slowed, but to a standstill from your perspective. That blade is halfway out of its long sheath, and your hand has already found the groove of the trigger of your gun. It has already made its way out of its holster. It is already aimed and trained to fire. Where do you shoot and how do you kill this man out here in the desert?
I was literally about to Google deadliest place to get hit.
Head.
Right in the brain.
I mean, he's 10 feet from you, so I would say from a longer distance, you'd probably aim for a body shot because you're more likely to hit a vital. But from this range with your gun, it's really dealer's choice.
If I shoot him in the throat,
yeah,
will that eventually he'll just bleed?
I mean, definitely.
Okay.
And it will not be a pleasant way to go.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. In an instant. If we were watching now from the mule's perspective, his blade makes it halfway out of its sheath. You hip fire your gun. We see the bullet pass through his throat. There's a jet of dark blood here in the near night. His blade pull so practiced, so clean. His foot almost immediately from the blow of this falters. It makes it only 3/4 of the way out of his sheath before he stumbles off to the side, gurgling, and falls into the dirt, where he slowly waters the plants. The mule whinnies softly to the side. The mule ain't going nowhere. You've stolen a horse yesterday. Do you have a mule now?
I will. I do want to, as this person is on the ground, choking on their own blood.
Yeah.
I want to kneel beside them and just lean real close. Now you gonna tell me who sent you?
He coughs.
Badass moment.
And sputters. And he brings his finger up to his neck and he takes a hefty dollop of his own blood. And in the dirt next to his head, he scrawls out 2 letters for you. HB.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
And he locks eyes with you. As he fell, his hat, as his head hit the ground, his hat fell off of his head. And his face now is strewn with bile and blood that's came out of his mouth, out of the side. And his eyes, though, still strong. The last thing to go as he's lying here dying. They look at you almost respectfully. And he nods his head into the dirt and closes his eyes and his hand falls.
I'm gonna loot him.
Take
his money. Take his ammo.
Everything off of his body.
Add to your personal quarters just a kick-ass samurai sword. Just the coolest katana.
Hell yeah.
And all the coins. Get all the coins.
And a pile of... Add to your personal quarters as well, a pile of blood money.
Money to kill yourself.
How much coin? I don't know. We can establish that off mic.
Yeah,
but
okay.
It's a hefty sum.
Take the wanted poster if you can.
I mean, it's just a photo of me. Fuck it. Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
You don't want floating around anywhere else.
That's true. I want the end cinematic here, before you move somebody else.
Picture? Does it look like you?
I mean, it's probably drawn, I would assume. or
Probably.
depending on how wealthy this guy is, I guess. I don't know. I'll pick up the poster, pocket it, and like the final scene will be Casey walking towards this mule, but like stepping and like crushing into the dirt the man's straw hat.
Love that. And we will end on one last bit here. We'll, of course, pick up next time with the night phase. But our last little bit of day, Pat, for Cyrus, you've marked a mask. Let's get your mask scene.
I marked my first mask of the past, which is narrate a flashback to your happy upper class childhood. Picture it, upstate New York. Cyrus is about 11, and he's horseback riding through the fields of New England with his older brother Silas, who is the one that took over the family business, of course. And it's a beautiful, like, spring day, and the sun is shining, and yeah, it's just a very nice, calming memory to look back on. And just him and his older brother just horseback riding through the fields.
We like match cut. We zoom out. We're like following the two of you horseback riding through the fields, the sun in front of you. And then we match cut that with Casey atop the mule riding towards town, the town growing increasingly dark as the sun finally finishes dipping behind the horizon. And next time we will pick up in El Paso at night.
Ooh.
Wah, wah, wah.
All right.
Thank you for coming to this daytime installment of Ghosts of El Paso.
Thank you to David, to Pat, to Miah, to Emma, and to the audience, especially to Dixon for dropping all of those tips.
No kidding.
And
Thank you
and
very
to everyone
much.
else, to everyone else who joined us as well. Thank you very much. And now let's just wave awkwardly while I find the bye-bye button.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.